Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Doomsday Catastrophe. Fortunately, I have a family prosperity system. Chapter 41. Second bedroom on the second floor. Ji Yutong lay flat on one side of the bed, eyes half closed, face rosy, and a little fragrant sweat hanging on her white and greasy skin. Although her figure is petite, she is not thin. She is lying lazily on the bed, forming a graceful line. Zhong Lin was on the other side. He wanted to light a cigarette, but he didn't have the habit of carrying cigarettes. He didn't even have them in his space ring, so he had to give up. And Qingge is good at everything, but he's too pretentious. It's not that she is pretending on purpose, but that she has a burden in front of Zhong Lin and always wants to show her best side to Zhong Lin. She usually remains silent, even in the most intense moments. She grits her teeth. The red lips are tightly closed, and only some sounds that cannot be hidden deep in the throat can be revealed. In terms of movements, she also had almost no changes, as if she was afraid that if she was too active, she would leave an impression on Zhong Lin. Although this was considered to be a unique experience, Zhong Lin still felt a little unsatisfied. But Ji Yutong is different. She was very cooperative, and with just a tap from Zhong Lin, she knew how to take the initiative to change her position. Although she is also very unfamiliar, she will actively cooperate and even ask Zhong Lin to change his posture. To use a sentence that Zhong Lin read before, this is simply a little wild cat. Zhong Lin was very happy this time, so he wanted to light a cigarette and reminisce about the wonderful experience while puffing away the smoke. On the side, Ji Yutong was miserable. She still hadn't recovered in one day, but Zhong Lin bombarded her again. While she felt a sense of fulfillment, her unhealed wounds became even more painful. It's serious. Pain and happiness. This is how Ji Yutong feels now. Really, if you let me rest for a few days, if you come back a few more times, I'm really going to die. Ji Yutong recovered for a while before finally having the strength to speak. Zhong Lin immediately turned over, with his arms on both sides of her body, and his whole body was directly above her. What do you want to do? Her face turned pale, and she looked at Zhong Lin warily. Zhong Lin pointed his right hand with the magic ring at Ji Yutong, and she suddenly screamed, "Zhong Lin, you have no conscience, you are going to kill someone and silence them after you feel good, right?" She had seen Zhong Lin easily defeat Luo Jingxin with the magic ring. Ji Yutong was very impressed by how badly he was hit by the magic ring. Zhong Lin rolled his eyes helplessly, not bothering to explain to her, and directly fired a beam of yang magic at her. A soft white light hit Ji Yutong. She felt as if she was soaking in a comfortable hot spring. Her whole body was warm, especially the injured area, which felt like being gently touched by Zhong Lin at the beginning. Very comfortable feeling. After a moment, the white light disappeared, and the comfortable feeling was gone, but Ji Yutong could clearly feel that there was no pain at all in the injured area. She sat up and looked down. All right, she looked at Zhong Lin again and complained, "Why didn't you give me something good yesterday? I was in pain all day yesterday." That's what's good about this woman. She is shameless and does not regard herself as an outsider. Sleep. Zhong Lin got under the quilt and turned his back to her. This made Ji Yutong very angry. Bad man, he is as holy as a Buddha afterwards, right? She used all her strength to turn Zhong Lin to face her, then got into Zhong Lin's arms, and then closed her eyes with satisfaction. The next day, Zhong Lin walked out of Ji Yutong's room refreshed, but happened to run into sisters Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui. The two of them had already gotten up and prepared breakfast. There was still some fresh food left in Zhong Lin's secret room yesterday, so they made a few random dishes and put them on the table. "Good morning, brother," the twin sisters responded in unison and greeted Zhong Lin in unison. However, they seemed to be a little different today than yesterday. He was no longer so scared, but shyly avoided Zhong Lin's gaze. "Good morning." Zhong Lin pinched their cheeks with both hands at the same time. "You are so diligent. It seems that it was right to bring you back. We will do a good job," Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui said together. And Qingge had already woken up. She was sitting at the dining table, eating in small bites. She seemed silent as if she hadn't seen Zhong Lin. Zhong Lin walked towards her without any hint of embarrassment. He sat down next to her and put his arm around her shoulders. "Ah, give me a bite." And Qingge really wanted to beat this man severely. But for some reason, as if she had no control over her hands, she put the chopsticks of food she had just picked up into Zhang Lin's mouth. My wife is so kind. Zhang Lin ate the food with a smile, then lowered his head and stamped a seal on her red lips. Feeling the moisture and warmth on his lips, and Chingay felt that all the resentment he had accumulated from yesterday to now had completely disappeared. It's really worthless, she scolded herself in her mind. Zhang Lin sat next to her and ate together. After eating, Zhang Lin took in Chingay and drove out again in the modified bun. I will continue to go out to kill zombies today. It will not be long before there will be a month of extremely cold temperatures, so I need to save more supplies. Not only food, but also various daily necessities. All in all, Zhang Lin's goal is to live a better life in the apocalypse than before. With yesterday's experience, and Chingay no longer felt uncomfortable with killing zombies. He worked very efficiently with Zhang Lin. At the end of the day, he gained more than yesterday. Resident number 16, kill 91 zombies and redeem 91 contribution points. The staff at the exchange office were stunned. Yesterday, Zhang Lin changed more than 70 points, which was far ahead of everyone else, but today, it was as high as more than 90 points. This is simply evil. Captain Zhang, do you have any tips? One of the onlookers couldn't help but stepped forward and asked. Suddenly, everyone looked over, raised their ears, and listened with concentration. After the new era, contribution points will become the currency of Hope City. Contribution points are required to exchange for various extraordinary materials, extraordinary templates, and extraordinary items. After the Resident Evil period, whether it is killing zombies or bringing back living people, there will no longer be any contribution points. If they can know Zhang Lin's secret, then they can take advantage of this short time to reserve more contribution points. The secret. Zhang Lin looked at the man. Yes, the man said with a smile on his face, Captain Zhang, the Resident Evil crisis has only been around for a few days anyway, and there are so many zombies. There is nothing to lose if you tell us the secret. That's right, Captain Zhang. There are so many zombies that you can't finish killing. Tell us the secret to killing so many zombies. We will all appreciate you. At worst, we can pool together some contribution points to buy your know-how. Everyone on the side cheered. Killing nearly 100 zombies a day, even Luo Jingxin, who used the half-zombie potion, could not do it. Although Zhang Lin was stronger than Luo Jingxin, they also felt that under normal circumstances, Zhang Lin should not be able to kill that many. Yes, there must be some trick. Everyone looked at Zhang Lin expectantly. You guys are really interesting. You're just killing a zombie. What's the secret? Zhang Lin looked strange. Isn't it enough if you have some hands? Question mark, question mark, question mark. At this time, everyone's expressions were like. At the same time, he secretly cursed. Mud, let him pretend. A group of people looked at Zhang Lin with murderous eyes. Mad, are you so pretentious? Just have some hands. You mean everyone has 2 tree branches growing on their arms, right? Why do you look at me like this? Zhang Lin shrugged helplessly. It's just a joke. I didn't kill these zombies alone. Who could kill so many? Then how did you do it? It was the same person. He looked at Zhang Lin with burning eyes and couldn't help but lick his lips. Zhang Lin took 2 steps back in disgust, and then, with everyone's expectant eyes on him, he hugged Chingay's slender waist and said, I cooperated with my wife to kill. As long as we cooperate tacitly, the efficiency will be fast. Quote. 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 Now no one even bothered to scold Zhang Lin in their hearts. They finally figured it out. By asking here, they were giving Zhang Lin room to show off. Haha, Captain Zhang, please do as you please. The person who had been asking the question laughed twice and made a gesture of invitation. Go away quickly, I don't want to see you show off. Zhang Lin took Chingay straight to the warehouse. As usual, all the contribution points were replaced by fresh fruits, vegetables and cold meat, which amounted to more than 90 kilograms. Adding yesterday's, it was enough to feed Zhang Lin's family of 6 for a long time. Not long after, the warehouse manager delivered more than 90 kilograms of goods to Zhang Lin's van, and then Zhang Lin drove home. The car parked at the door, moved the things into the house, and then put them directly into the space ring. The space ring has an advantage. Things come out just as they go in, which is much better than any refrigerator or cold storage. Brother Lin, I posted an advertisement at the door of Building 5 today, and people are already inquiring about renting a house. Ji Yutong came over to report. What do you think? 2 contribution points a day. Zhang Lin didn't understand the prices in Hope City, so he waved his hand and said, it's up to you to decide. Ji Yutong was thinking happily, we will renovate it a little, and the 5 villas can accommodate at least 30 people. 2 points per person, and 30 people will be 60 points. In 2 months, we can earn a full 3,600 point. After the new era, it will be enough to buy a rare level extraordinary template. She also used potions in her previous life and awakened a transcendent template, but it was just an ordinary template, but it was something she had gained through all the hard work. In this life, she does not seek to awaken the legendary template like Zhonglanan Qingge. She is satisfied with awakening a rare template. What kind of garbage is that rare template? Zhang Lin smiled disdainfully. Just wait, I will give you an awakening gem later, so that you can also awaken the extraordinary template. Then how long do I have to wait? Ji Yutong asked expectantly. Zhang Lin glanced at Qingwu, who was aside, and said to himself that if you can help me get Qingwu, I can get it to you today. I'm not in a hurry, just take your time. When Ji Yutong saw Zhang Lin didn't speak, she thought she was putting him in a difficult situation and said quickly. You don't have to wait long, 5 days at most, just watch. Zhang Lin said confidently. There are also twins. Compared with Qingwu, they should be much easier to conquer. Speaking of twins, the twins just came out of the kitchen. Nowadays, Villa number 16 is tidy from top to bottom, and there is not much work on weekdays. The twin sisters have changed their jobs to full-time cooks. They were wearing plain dresses and aprons, with their hair simply rolled up and their sleeves rolled up, revealing their arms as white as lotus joints, and they looked a bit like little maids. Have a meal. As the twin little chefs brought dishes to the table, the whole family sat together again. Not to mention, Zhang Lin now really looked like the warlord he used to be, eating alone with a bunch of concubines. This table of yin yang yan yan looks very eye-catching. The only problem is that there are still 3 of them, and he can only look at them but not eat them. The process must be accelerated. After the meal, Zhang Lin called the twin sisters to go to the 5 villas. There were also some supplies collected by Luo Jingxin. He wanted to see if there was anything useful. As for why they are called twins, naturally, it's time to start the first step of the strategy. Sister, couldn't brother-in-law call us when he went to Building 5 to get something? Why did he call the twins? And Qingwu was filled with worry after Zhang Lin left. And Qingge was also a little suspicious, but she still had to remain calm in front of her sister. I brought them back to work with them, so why is it strange to call them in? I'm not too worried. And Qingwu was worried for her sister. Ji Yutong on the side said with a smile, are you still worried that your sister will fall out of favor? Let me give you a trick, just follow Zhang Lin. You 2 sisters, who can compete with you? You're shameless. And Qingwu's pretty face suddenly turned red from suppressing it, and she pointed at Ji Yutong and scolded her. Unfortunately, she didn't have a rich vocabulary, so she could just say, you're shameless. This sentence had no lethal effect on Ji Yutong. She stood up, put away the used dishes and chopsticks skillfully, and left a sentence before going to the kitchen, I'm just kidding, don't take it seriously. Sister, look at her. And Qingwu looked at her back and said to her sister angrily, she's going too far with this joke. Why did she follow her brother-in-law? What is it like? And Qingwu was filled with shame and anger, but pictures appeared in her mind involuntarily. That's the kind of person she is, don't be like her. And Qingge hugged his sister and stroked her hair with his hands, calmly comforting her on the surface, but full of thoughts in her heart. Although Qingwu felt ashamed and angry, she did not leave behind the work she was supposed to do. She lived and ate for free all day long, and she would be embarrassed if she didn't do any more work. Ji Yutong went to wash the dishes while she cleared the table outside. And Qingge suddenly stood up and walked to the kitchen. When Qingwu saw it, she was immediately excited and thought that Qingge had gone to find Ji Yutong to cause trouble. Humph, let's see how my sister handles you. She wiped the table happily. After Qingge arrived in the kitchen and closed the door, he did not give Ji Yutong a meal as Qingwu imagined. Instead, she asked calmly, what do you mean by what you just said? Ji Yutong washed the dishes happily, it's nothing, just joking. And Chingay crossed his arms and said calmly, "You don't seem to be joking. Did Zhang Lin show interest in Xiao Wu in front of you?" Ji Yutong immediately looked at her in surprise. This woman is so smart. It was just an unintentional remark like a joke, but she actually guessed what Zhang Lin was thinking. In order to avoid damaging Zhang Lin, she quickly said, "No way, don't think too much, I just made a vulgar joke about my brother-in-law and sister-in-law." And Chingay raised a white and delicate hand, and violent wind energy surged in her hand. She looked at Ji Yutong with cold eyes, and said with cold murderous intent, "Tell me the truth, or I will kill you." 5 villas. The layout is similar to that of Building 16. Zhang Lin took his twin sisters around and found a lot of things. Luo Jingxin came all the way to Hope City and gathered a group of about a dozen people. The supplies needed by so many people were not ordinary small amounts. After arriving in Hope City, the supplies were stored in his house. As Luo Jingxin failed to challenge Zhang Lin and was killed, his subordinates were afraid of offending Zhang Lin and hid far away. Some even did not dare to return to Hope City. As a result, this large amount of supplies was left in 5 villas, and now they are all cheaper for Zhang Lin. A large number of packaged foods from supermarkets and convenience stores, and a small number of daily necessities. These things are of little use to Zhang Lin. He has more of them, but they can also increase his material reserves and make his capital more abundant. Zhang Lin was more interested in other things. Is this the half-corpse potion? He found another half-corpse potion in Luo Jingxin's bedroom. It seemed to be of the same level as the one used by Luo Jingxin. In addition to the half-corpse potion, there are also some materials collected by Luo Jingxin, most of which are from zombies, such as cerebrospinal fluid, bone meal, and concentrated blood. I think one of you should use the half-corpse potion, which one of you should use it? Zhang Lin played with the potion in his hand and looked at the twin sisters playfully. Sisters Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were curious about a large number of half-corpse potions. When they suddenly heard Zhang Lin's words, everyone was suddenly stunned. They had seen Luo Jingxin use the half-corpse potion. After using it, it becomes like a zombie. How scary it is. Brother, we don't want to use it. The two sisters cast pleading glances at Zhang Lin. The end of the world is so dangerous. Zombies will gather to attack Hope City in the near future. What if you don't hurry up and improve your strength? Zhang Lin said with a cold face. The two sisters looked at each other. They are twins. They grew up together. It can be said that they have a tacit understanding and can communicate with each other through their eyes. For a time, the two staged an emotional drama through their eyes. Xiaoya, let me use it. Just one of our sisters turns into a zombie. I will protect you from now on. Xiaohui, no, I'll use it, or I'll turn into a zombie. Xiaoya, no, I'll use it. Xiaohui, let me do it. Zhang Lin watched with interest from the side. When the two sisters were entangled with each other and fighting for the use of the half-corpse potion, he said again, in the end of the world, if you cannot improve your strength, you have to choose to rely on the protection of the strong. Do you think I can protect you? The two sisters understood instantly. Zhang Lin was teasing them just now. Of course you can, brother, you are the most powerful person we have ever seen. The two of them flattered each other. Not to mention, being flattered by two identical beautiful girls is a unique feeling. Zhang Lin held the half-corpse potion in his hand and said nothing. The two sisters looked at each other. Mu Xiaoya spoke first. She lowered her head, pursed her pink lips, and whispered, "Brother, we just want to live safely." Mu Xiaohui held the corners of her clothes with her little hands and made up her mind, "We will listen to my brother in everything. Please don't drive us away. What you are saying is as if I am forcing you." Zhang Lin suddenly laughed, and then said calmly, "I won't hide it from you. I like you two very much. However, I don't like to force others. What I value is willingness. I will give you a few days to think about it. If you feel that you are willing, come to me, okay?" "Brother, of course we are willing to do so," the two sisters said quickly. "As long as you don't drive us away, we promise to always listen to you in the future." Zhang Lin waved his hand, "You don't need to tell me anymore. I know you must have a grudge in your heart, so I'll give you some time to do some mental construction on your own, okay?" Okay, the two sisters felt that Zhang Lin was too weird. Everyone who has never read apocalyptic novels knows this process. Isn't it just trading your body for safety and food? In the end, Zhonglin not only wanted their bodies, but also their hearts. Okay, let's go. Zhonglin put the things into the space ring and returned to Building 16 with the twin sisters. Zhonglin, come with me, I have something to tell you. And Qingge was guarding the stairs. When he saw Zhonglin coming up, he dragged him to the bedroom. Zhonglin was confused, thinking that Qingge was usually a graceful person. Why did he suddenly become enthusiastic today? Could it be that he was jealous of Ji Yutong? He turned around and saw Ji Yutong winking at him, as if giving some secret signal. Zhonglin didn't understand, and was dragged into the room by Qingge. What needs to be said inside the house? Do you have any thoughts about Xiao Wu? Qingge got straight to the point and stared at Zhonglin seriously. Zhonglin immediately understood that Ji Yutong's secret code looked like this. Just seeing the anxious look on Ji Yutong's face, what did Zhonglin think? But this is the result. He didn't panic at all. Come on, sit down first. Zhonglin held her shoulders, pushed her to sit on the bed, and then pushed her down without her noticing. When a woman is rational, don't talk to her. Let her lose her mind first, and then everything will be easier to discuss. Zhonglin has mastered the trick. Zhonglin, I am talking to you very seriously. What are you doing? Woo-woo. At first, Qingge wanted to continue speaking, but soon her mouth was sealed by Zhonglin, and she couldn't say anything. After a while, Zhonglin didn't have to seal her mouth, and she couldn't say anything anymore. Outside the door, Ji Yutong looked sad. It's over. Qingge will definitely make things difficult for Zhonglin, and Zhonglin will definitely make trouble for me in the future. After all, I leaked the news. I don't know how Zhonglin will deal with me in the future. Why is this woman Qingge so ruthless? She is just like Zhonglin. She will take people's lives at every turn. If she really wants to step on the horse, she will just follow her husband. She felt like she was going to die. I'm such a fool, why did I have to make that joke? It's over. Ji Yutong squatted on his bed, wishing he could hide his head under the quilt and be an ostrich. She couldn't imagine what an angry Zhonglin would do to her. Maybe, it will be spoiled. With such worries, Ji Yutong stayed awake for most of the night. At some point, he just couldn't stand it any longer. His body was so sleepy that he fell head over heels and fell asleep on the bed. In fact, she was worrying too much. Zhonglin was not panicked at all. One night, Qingge was not conscious for much. Until she got up the next day, she looked hazy, as if her soul had left her body, and she was completely out of state. Zhonglin dragged her and drove all the way outside the city without even eating breakfast. She finally came to her senses when she was blown by the cold wind outside the car. Zhonglin, I have something to tell you. Qingge was sitting in the passenger seat of the van, with the window rolled down, the cool wind blowing her hair, and her beautiful face was filled with a look of resentment. Zhonglin on the side was smiling. Don't we talk about everything? You tell me. He looks so irritating. Qingge couldn't help but bite her teeth. She was indeed angry and wanted to talk to Zhonglin yesterday. After all, that was her sister. Zhonglin already had her own sister, and she still wanted to take advantage of Xiao Wu. She couldn't accept it. But after Zhonglin's crazy output, she forgot everything. Now that the old things were brought up again, Qingge found that his anger was much less. I won't say anything about the matter between you and Ji Yutong, but Xiao Wu is my biological sister. Qingge said this, and his anger rose again. I don't allow you to have ideas about her. Zhonglin asked in confusion. Do you think I'm bad? Is this a good or bad question? Qingge rolled his eyes angrily. She is my biological sister, I'll say it again. I know, what's wrong? Zhonglin smiled. Once, when he faced sisters Qingge and Qingwu, not only because of his inferiority complex, but the reason in his heart always kept him at a distance from the sisters. But now, Zhonglin's mentality has changed drastically from before. With the confidence brought by his strong strength, Zhonglin didn't even bother to hide his thoughts. He was a little scrupulous at first, but now, he doesn't mind a showdown with Qingge. Zhonglin, what do you mean? Qingge was really angry. At the same time, a sad feeling arose in his heart. If you don't like me anymore, I can leave. If you like Xiao Wu, fine, I will just leave. From now on, you and her Xiaowu will be together and you can live a good life. Of course I like you. Zhang Lin stopped the car, turned around, looked at her and said seriously, but there is a special reason why I did this. Do you want to hear it? What's the reason? And Qingge turned her head and covered up the slightly raised corners of her mouth. When she heard Zhang Lin said he liked her, she couldn't help but smile. Ah, where to start? Zhang Lin thought for a moment. How do you think I, a person who is not even a reborn person, suddenly become so powerful after the end of the world? There are actually other reborn people. The legendary extraordinary template that you can't even ask for, and there are 2 of them. Why? And Qingge was full of curiosity about this question, but since Zhang Lin didn't tell her before, it was hard for her to ask. Maybe my ancestors couldn't stand it any longer. They thought that if I died, our old Zhang family would have no descendants, so they gave me a good thing. Zhang Lin said slowly. If he wants to get the rewards from the system, Zhang Lin will inevitably marry more wives and have children to develop his family, not just in Qingwu and his twin sisters, but more and more in the future. And Zhang Lin didn't want to lose in Qingge. At this time, Zhang Lin felt that there was no problem if he revealed a little bit. Let and Qingge understand his difficulties. As mentioned before, with the improvement of strength, Zhang Lin's mentality has also undergone great changes. He was confident enough that Qingge would not harm him even after knowing some of his secrets. What? And Qingge stared at Zhang Lin with a pair of bright eyes, full of curiosity. I can't tell you exactly what it is. Anyway, as long as I marry more wives and have children and make my family prosperous, I can get good things that others can't get even if they break their heads. Zhang Lin said frankly. So you put Ji Yutong to sleep too. And Qingge's mind was racing. Your gun and space ring were obtained after you were with me, and those 2 awakening gems were brought by Ji Yutong. Yes. Zhang Lin spread his hands. So, your extraordinary template is actually a part of Yutong's contribution. Quote. And Qingge was speechless for a while, feeling a little awkward. She still has some grudges against Ji Yutong. Then, you're only with me for a reward. And Qingge suddenly thought of this, and his face instantly turned pale. She admitted that being with Zhang Lin was helpless at first, but as time went by, she had already given herself to Zhang Lin wholeheartedly. She also truly believed that Zhang Lin loved her. If from the beginning, Zhang Lin was just for rewards. And Qingge suddenly felt his heart twitching suddenly, and an indescribable pain surged into his heart. No, of course not, I do like you very much. Zhang Lin said immediately, with a very firm tone, think about it, if I didn't like you, I would tell you so much. And Qingge was silent for a moment. I believe you. What Zhang Lin said made sense. If Zhang Lin didn't care about her, he would just ignore her after getting the reward. There was no need to tell her such a secret. So, in terms of feelings, I will indeed wrong you a little in the future, but in other aspects, I will definitely make it up to you. Zhang Lin took her into his arms, lowered his head and kissed her softly. Her red lips. Does it have to be Xiao Wu? And Qingge said in a complicated tone, she is my sister after all. From now on, I won't care about you and other women, okay? Of course not. The 2 sisters must be intact. Zhang Lin muttered in his heart and said with a smile, go back and ask Yutong, what kind of chaos will the world be after the end of the world? You letting Xiao Wu stay with someone else will push her into a pit of fire. It is better to let her stay with me. And Qingge felt a little confused. She herself found it strange, because she actually thought Zhang Lin was right. You asked me to think about it. After a long pause, she said this. And Qingge did not persuade Zhang Lin to give up future rewards and stay with her alone from now on. She has been independent since she was a child and has a more pragmatic thinking. The end of the world is so dangerous, and there will be a new era that is even more dangerous. Reason told her that the best solution was to help Zhang Lin duo marry and have children. But when it comes to her sister, she is still a little confused. Okay, I won't rush you, you can think about it slowly. Zhang Lin smiled and restarted the van. He knew it was done. It is now a matter of time. As long as Qingge figures it out, he will get a new reward. 10 minutes later, the van stopped in a square. As soon as Zhang Lin opened the car door and got out of the car, an old zombie wearing a training uniform rushed over. Zhang Lin kicked him away. and then used his casual marksmanship to fire more than a dozen shots, killing the old zombie. The sound of gunfire attracted more zombies. Zhong Lin used a pistol and a knife and began to chop zombies. And Chingay then got out of the car, also holding a machete. She had the passive ability of Wind Dancer and was very fast. Zhong Lin was responsible for the main attack, and she was responsible for assisting. Together, the two of them can kill zombies very quickly. However, this time, zombies were not the only ones attracted by the sound of gunfire. I heard gunshots. Quick, come with me, there is hope. Chen Zibo was escaping with his two remaining team members. After hearing the familiar gunshots, his worried face finally showed a hint of joy. Ever since he saw Zhong Lin and 3 women falling onto the subway track that day, he had wanted to move. There are too many zombies near the apartment, and food reserves are scarce. It is definitely not a place suitable for long-term survival. Therefore, after communicating in the same building for 2 days and forming a team of 12 people, he decisively set out with all the food reserves. Chen Zibo was a scout and was best at tracking. He followed the various traces left by Zhong Lin and chased him to the subway terminal. After arriving, he also met a man named Niu Lei and learned about Zhong Lin's identity, direction, so he chased him all the way to the vicinity of Hope City. But before he arrived at Hope City, he met a terrifying guy. "Old Chen, run faster. I'm going to catch up, ha 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 ha." A young man with medium-long pink hair was following behind Chen Zibo, holding a long gun and chasing 3 people. "You are a pervert, I don't know you at all." Chen Zibo heard the voice and shouted angrily, "Why do you want to kill me?" "Oh, I forgot. You are a muggle and have never been reborn. How pitiful." The pink-haired man pervert laughed wildly, ha 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 ha. "In your last life, you, a muggle who has never been reborn, were very close. Kill me." Muggles were originally a term used by wizards for mortals without talents in the book Harry Potter. After the end of the world, some reborn people used it to describe ordinary people who had not awakened their memories. Bang bang bang. Gunfire continued in the distance. "Run in the direction of the gunfire." Chen Zibo yelled, then suddenly thought of something, and hurriedly said, "Don't run in the direction of the gunfire. The pink-haired man is too powerful. 12 of them, all of them had weapons, but he killed only 3 of them by himself." Even if Zhong Lin had a gun, Chen Zibo couldn't guarantee that Zhong Lin could beat the pink-haired man. He didn't want to involve Zhong Lin. "Do you know the person who shot the gun?" The pink-haired man laughed strangely and stabbed another person to death with 1 shot. "Go, look for him, maybe he can save you." Chen Zibo didn't dare to look back. He didn't dare to look at the bodies of his companions. It was his decision to come out, but he met the pink-haired man and almost everyone died. He had no face to face his brothers. And all he can do now is to change direction and not run towards Zhong Lin to prevent this pink-haired perverted man from finding Zhong Lin again. But only people like Chen Zibo, who has a military background, can stay rational in critical moments, but his companions can't. Ha 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 ha. Little cutie, there is still a glimmer of hope if you run in the direction of the gunfire. The pink-haired male monster smiled and stabbed Chen Zibo's companion in the butt. Ouch! Chen Zibo's companion yelled, and a flower of blood burst out from his butt. He was filled with fear and actually did as the pink-haired man said. The pink-haired man didn't even look at Chen Zibo, who had changed directions, and chased after his companion. That direction was also the direction from which the gunfire came. Shall I draft it? Chen Zibo's eyes were splitting, and he watched helplessly as the pink-haired man headed towards his companions and the pink-haired man towards Zhong Lin. He stayed there for a few seconds, then gritted his teeth and chased after him. At this time, if he ran away, he would be able to get rid of the pink-haired man. Although the pink-haired man was strong, once he opened a distance, Chen Zibo, a former scout, could easily make the pink-haired man unable to find him. But if he left like this, it would not be Chen Zibo's character. If he hadn't exposed his relationship with the owner of the gunshot, the pink-haired man wouldn't be interested in Zhong Lin at all. After being chased all the way, Chen Zibo finally understood that this perverted pink-haired man was just trying to torture him, as if he had some deep grudge against him. However, even if he might be killed by the pink-haired man if he catches up, Chen Zibo will not run away alone and survive. On the other hand, Zhonglin and Chingay worked together to clear out the zombies in the square, about 40 of them. After that, he and Chingay took machetes and cut off the left ears of the zombies one by one. Suddenly, a cry for help came from not far away. The two looked up and saw a fat middle-aged man being chased by a young man with pink hair. "It has nothing to do with us, just leave it alone," Zhonglin said lightly, lowered his head and continued to cut off the zombies' ears. And Chingay, on the other hand, did not look back. After looking at them for a while, she said, "They are coming in our direction, there is no way to hide. Then let's see what tricks they do." Zhonglin no longer lowered his head to cut off the zombies' ears, but instead held a pistol and a knife in his hand, watching the two people running warily. "Zhonglin, run!" Chen Zubo's roar came from a distance. "Jehieji, old Chen, I knew you would come after me." The pink-haired male monster smiled, sped up, caught up with the middle-aged fat man, and stabbed him to death with a single shot. Then, he stopped and tilted his head to look at Zhonglin. "Do you know Chen Zubo?" "Get out." Zhonglin raised his gun and pointed it at him. "Zhonglin, be careful, this guy is very fast, you may not be able to hit him." Chen Zubo also ran over at this time and said to Zhonglin, "That's nonsense. Before the new era, was there anyone who could dodge bullets?" Zhonglin didn't believe it. As a veteran, Chen Zubo should have agreed with this sentence, but the pink-haired man cast such a shadow on him that he felt very guilty at this time. "Anyway, be careful, this guy is a pervert. Quack, quack, there's a gun. Come on, hit your dad and see if you can hit him. If not, I'll pierce your skin with my gun." The pink-haired man didn't show any concern at all. Fear, he screamed strangely, staring at the zombie corpses on the ground and Chingay with his ruthless eyes. Seeking death. Zhonglin's face darkened instantly when he saw his gaze. He dared to catch Chingay's attention, which offended his instinct, so he immediately shot the pink-haired man. As it turned out, the pink-haired man was really good at it. He was extremely fast, and Zhonglin's marksmanship was not good to begin with. He took several steps forward and missed his shot. 7 steps away, your pistol is faster, within 7 steps, my spear is faster. After the pink-haired man approached, he became more arrogant and looked at Zhonglin jokingly, "Now I am only 6 steps away from you, do you want to try shooting again?" Zhonglin put away the gun. "Giggle, giggle, giggle, smart man." The pink-haired man laughed arrogantly, "Give me your zombie ears and woman, and I'll spare your life, how about that?" "Chingay, I think this guy is very unhappy, go and kill him," Zhonglin said to Chingay, who was beside him, expressionlessly. Chingay has become familiar with his ability to kill zombies in the past 2 days, but he has never seen human blood. This is a shortcoming. In the apocalypse, people who dare not kill will not survive. Therefore, Zhonglin asked Chingay to take action. Another point is that this pink-haired man is so arrogant, so Zhonglin asked a weak and delicate woman to kill him to see if he could bear it. Sure enough, when the pink-haired man heard that Zhonglin actually asked Chingay to take action, his face suddenly darkened. "Grandson, you are crazy, but if you let this woman deal with me, aren't you afraid that she will never come back?" "Chingay, I think his death will be more miserable." Zhonglin hates people who spout shit. He likes to scold others during fights, but he definitely doesn't like others to scold him. "Good." Chingay looked solemn and nodded. "It is rare for my man to make a request to me, and he must satisfy it." She also understood that Zhonglin was training himself, and after the end of the world, it would be impossible not to kill people, so although Chingay was a little panicked, she did not resist Zhonglin's order at all. Yo, are we still chatting?" The pink-haired man looked at Chingay greedily and licked his lips. "No, are you serious? If you let her fight me, what if I accidentally kill her? I don't like playing with corpses." "Zhonglin, don't be careless. He killed 11 of my people by himself. His strength is terrifying," Chen Zubo said from the side. "At this time, shouldn't there be justice 3 against 1, plus a gun? Let Chingay do it himself." He couldn't figure out Zhonglin's brain circuit. "This evil pen is not worthy of my action. My woman can handle him." Zhonglin smiled at Chen Zubo, and his calm look made Chen Zubo feel a little more at ease. "Okay, you succeeded in irritating me." The pink-haired man sneered, Just watch, I will break your limbs soon and let you watch your woman being played to death by me. Shut up, you beast. And Chingay was angered by his words and slashed his head with a knife. So fast. The pink-haired man's eyes narrowed, and he was shocked. And Chingay's speed was not slower than him, and even seemed to be a little faster. However, he did not dodge, do not block, and directly shot back. The spear was longer than the knife, so Chingay had no choice but to return to defense. HMPH, it doesn't matter if you're fast, I've killed more people than you've ever seen. The pink-haired man yelled, I'll kill you within 10 moves. Chingay, there is no need to keep your hands. Lao Chen can be trusted. Zhong Lin could tell that Chingay didn't want to use his extraordinary abilities, so he warned him. He thinks Chen Zubo is pretty good, and there is no need to hide some things too deeply. Hearing this, Chingay's eyes showed murderous intent. He immediately stopped caring about the spear thrust out by the pink-haired man and struck straight at the pink-haired man's chest. You are looking for death. The pink-haired man's eyes widened with excitement. This beautiful woman was about to be killed by him. The spear was longer than the knife. In his opinion, Chingay was just seeking death by attacking him. However, just as the pink-haired man watched the tip of his spear piercing Chingay's neck, her body suddenly became illusory, and the spear seemed to have pierced into a mass of air and passed directly through. Extraordinary. The idea just came to the pink-haired man's mind, and then he felt a sharp pain in his chest. He looked down and saw that Chingay had cut a huge wound on his chest that was deep enough to show the bone. Chingay, who was on the side, quickly stepped aside and recovered her body. With her current strength, it took only a short time for her to completely transform into an element. If she didn't dodge, the spear would remain in her body when she recovered her body. The pink-haired man is someone who has experienced the apocalypse several times. At this time, he clearly realized one thing: escape. Run away. He took advantage of Chingay's recovery, threw the spear in his hand, turned around and started running away. Chingay did not pursue him, but raised his hand to condense a blade-shaped wind element, which went directly towards the pink-haired man. Puff! With a soft sound, the extremely sharp wind element blade penetrated directly into the heart of the pink-haired man. I'm sorry, it was my first time to kill someone, so I wasn't very skilled at it, so he died too quickly. As the pink-haired man's body fell into the dust, Chingay turned around and spoke to Zhong with a slightly pale face. Lin apologizes. The first time she killed someone, she felt a little uncomfortable. Well, just practice more and you'll be fine. Zhong Lin was not surprised at all. He walked over and held her in his arms, kissing her cold face gently. Chen Zubo. Why does he feel that Zhong Lin is also a pervert? What does it mean to just practice more? That's killing people. Old Chen, what's going on with this man? Why is he chasing you? Zhong Lin comforted Chingay, then took her hand and introduced him by the way, Chingay, my woman. Hello, brother and sister. Chen Zubo waved and greeted Chingay. The latter nodded slightly, indicating that they knew each other. I don't know where this pervert came from, saying that I almost killed him in my previous life. Chen Zubo answered Zhong Lin's first question, full of grievance. Don't you think he is crazy? Ah, Zhong Lin paused. It's possible that you almost killed him in your previous life. He heard Ji Yutong say that the reason why she came to Hope City in her previous life was because she joined Chen Zubo's team. She was protected all the way to Hope City by Chen Zubo, otherwise she, a weak woman, would not be intact even if she could reach Hope City. Only a good old man like Chen Zubo can protect the safety of a beautiful and fragile woman like Ji Yutong. What the hell? Chen Zubo didn't understand at all. What about past and present lives? Is there really a theory of reincarnation? Let's go back with me. I'll explain it to you slowly on the way. Zhong Lin asked Chen Zubo to get in the car. After meeting his friends, he was no longer in a hurry to kill zombies and decided to go back with Chen Zubo first, have a meal and catch up on old times. After getting into the van, Chen Zubo sat in the back seat, looked at the flowing scenery outside the window, and told the reason why he came here. I think that a place where smart people like you go must be suitable for survival, so I just follow when I came here. Who knew I would meet that pervert? When it comes to the pink-haired man, Chen Zubo is filled with anger. All 11 of his companions were killed. Fortunately, he was killed by his younger siblings. Otherwise, I would have fought to the death with him. Chen Zubo thanked Chingay gratefully. You're welcome. Chingay smiled faintly, and then touched the red tassel spear. She felt that this weapon suited her very well and was much more comfortable than using a machete. After the pink-haired man died, his belongings naturally belonged to Zhang Lin. In addition to a spear, there was also a bottle of light cyan potion. Zhang Lin felt that it should be the same as the half-corpse potion, a simple extraordinary potion that could be made before the new era. He quietly put the potion into his space and asked Ji Yutong to evaluate it when he got back. By the way, Zhang Lin, I have a question. I don't know if I should ask. Chen Zubo thought about Chingay's powerful strength and thought, if he had such strength, he wouldn't seeing his companion being killed, he was just about to ask. But at this moment, a dark shadow quickly passed in front of the car. Zhang Lin suddenly stopped suddenly, and everyone's bodies fell forward under the influence of inertia. He hit his head on the steering wheel, and Chingay also fell on the front shelf, and Chen Zubo also hit the front seat, and was interrupted mid-sentence. Isn't it true that mater is a porcelain? Zhang Lin raised his head and cursed angrily. Then he opened his mouth even wider, but no sound came out. A huge black shadow grew bigger and bigger before his eyes. It seems that 1 foot, Wang Defa, Zhang Lin cursed, immediately opened the car door, and shouted at the same time, "Get out of the car." He almost rolled out of the car. And Chingay was slightly better. She had the passiveness of the wind dancer, her body was light, her speed was faster, and she got out of the car quickly. But Chen Zubo was miserable. He didn't have time to get out of the car. As soon as he opened the door, he saw a black figure falling from the sky and deformed the front windshield and body of the van with his kick. Old Chen is just unlucky. Zhang Lin said regretfully. We just rescued him, but he was kicked to death in the car. He might as well have been stabbed to death by the pink-haired man just now. Quote. And Chingay was speechless. That big foot only crushed the front half of the car. Maybe Chen Zubo is not dead. Why don't you go and save him? But at this time, she didn't care about Chen Zubo anymore. She and Zhang Lin both raised their heads and looked at the huge figure in front of the van. This is a zombie. It is about 7 or 8 meters tall. Rotten pieces of meat are piled up on its body, making it look very bloated. Its movements are slow, but not slow, because it can stride several meters in one step. With every step it takes, the earth seems to move. While vibrating, it is extremely powerful, and any obstacles on the road will be kicked away by it. Zombie King. Zhang Lin's face became solemn. I heard Yutong say that the appearance of the Corpse King means that zombies are about to gather to attack humans. During the Resident Evil period, zombies were not difficult to deal with at first. As long as a few people joined forces, brought some homemade weapons, and used their brains, they could easily kill zombies. But things were different after the appearance of the Corpse King. Thousands of zombies formed an army under the leadership of the Zombie King. It was extremely terrifying, like an irresistible torrent of steel, or a terrifying locust plague. Wherever they went, not a single blade of grass grew. What to do? And Chingay looked at the huge zombie, his heart trembling. At this time, the Corpse King also lowered his head and noticed the 2 tiny humans. Its fat face made of piles of carrion twitched slightly, as if it was smiling. It made a hoarse hiss sound, stopped, and then grabbed Chingay with one hand. And Chingay's face turned pale, but his body instinctively retreated. With a loud boom, the zombie hit the ground with one hand and made a deafening sound. At the same time, many pieces of flesh fell from its giant hand, carrion. The Corpse King should be chasing someone else. I saw a figure before. Zhang Lin looked ugly. It seemed that someone had used a trick to drain trouble to the east. The Corpse King continued to attack Chingay. Zhang Lin took out his pistol and fired wildly at the Corpse King. The sound of the gunshot instantly attracted the Corpse King's attention, and it turned its target to Zhang Lin. It clenched its fists with both hands and hammered directly towards Zhang Lin's location. Ahem. Brothers and sisters, go and save Zhang Lin. Ahem. Chen Zubo was lucky enough not to die. As soon as he got out of the car, he saw a huge zombie hitting Zhang Lin with 2 hammers. Lin suddenly roared with eyes split open. He had seen Chingay take action and knew that Chingay was powerful. Naturally, Chingay didn't need him to remind her. After seeing the zombie king change its target, she used the red tassel gun in one hand and the energy of the fury of wind in the other. She first threw out a few wind blades, then approached the zombie with the gun and stabbed the zombie with one shot. King's calves. As for Zhong Lin, since he dared to attract zombies, he was naturally not afraid of the corpse king. The two hammers fell towards him. He first rolled over to avoid it, then stood up and glared at the corpse king. With a thought, his whole body exuded there was a heavy majesty, and the sound of dragon roar seemed to be heard out of thin air. The corpse king wanted to continue attacking, but suddenly a trace of fear flashed in his eyes, and he stood frozen on the spot. This is the first time Zhong Lin has used Longwei's skill against an enemy in a real sense. The corpse king was too powerful, and Longwei could not control it for long. Zhong Lin did not dare to waste time. He had a big mouth inside, and a hot temperature brewed in his mouth. At the same time, his neck, throat, and mouth all looked like a dragon. Convert. Boom. A violent flame spurted out from Zhong Lin's mouth, hitting the huge corpse king like a cannonball. The flame was fierce and thick, like real magma, attached to the corpse king's body, burning his flesh and grease. Ouch! The zombie let out a deafening roar and very wisely slapped the flames on his body with his own hands, trying to extinguish the flames. Chen Zubo was stunned. He thought Chingay was strong enough. The pink-haired man who killed 11 of his companions was easily killed by Chingay. He had wanted to ask how he obtained such a powerful power. But now he discovered that his brother was even more powerful. Is this really a power that humans can use? Chen Zubo swallowed his saliva, his eyes widened to their maximum size, staring at the corpse king and the flame on its body. On the other side, there was another person looking at Zhong Lin and the corpse king with an uncertain expression on his face. He is actually a master. However, this kind of strength is obviously not something that those simple extraordinary potions before the new era can achieve, right? This man has a great secret. The corpse king is not that easy to kill. Maybe I can wait and see if I can get this secret. The mysterious man in the dark was dressed in sportswear, wearing a mask and a peaked cap, and his eyes were staring greedily at Zhong Lin in the distance. Chingay, don't get close to the corpse king, attack from a distance. Zhong Lin felt a little tired after spitting out a dragon's breath. He stepped back, not to fight head-on with the crazed corpse king, but also reminded Chingay. Chingay also realized at this time that his red tassel spear was too short and would not pose much of a threat to the huge zombie king. On the contrary, the fury of the wind could attack the vital points of some zombies from a distance, and its output from a distance was more efficient than close combat. Good. She pulled away and continuously condensed the wind blade to attack the corpse king's head. Zhong Lin also took out his pistol and shot wildly at the corpse king's head. His shooting method was random shooting, but fortunately, the corpse king's target was large and the hit rate was quite high. The corpse king was on fire, and its head was still under attack. It roared angrily, and started to attack Zhong Lin regardless of the flames on its body. Yes, that's it, it's better to lose both sides. In the distance, the man wearing a mask whispered excitedly. If it were an ordinary person, it would be difficult to dodge the corpse king's attack. The corpse king's movements are slow, but with the blessing of huge strength, his speed is not slow. But fortunately, Zhong Lin's physical fitness is far superior to ordinary people, and his reaction speed is much faster than ordinary people. Every time the corpse king launches an attack, he starts to dodge. Old Chen, do me a favor. After Zhong Lin hid behind the car, he quietly came to Chen Zubo and threw the green potion to Chen Zubo. Drink this thing, and then help I'll catch someone. The corpse king lost Zhong Lin's vision and turned to attack Chingay. Chingay was faster. She slowly flew the kite to delay the corpse king and buy Zhong Lin time. Is there anyone else here? Chen Zubo looked around. The corpse king's destructive power was too great. The scene was a mess, and his experience as a scout could not find any traces of others. Yes, Zhong Lin said firmly, quietly, without being seen by others, find this person for me. Okay, Chen Zubo agreed without any hesitation. Then Zhong Lin appeared and took over from Chingay. He was responsible for attracting the hatred of the corpse king. He turned on the dragon power halo. The corpse king was a powerful creature and was not affected by the aura. He instinctively felt angry towards Zhong Lin. Emotionally, He attacked Zhang Lin desperately. Chen Zubo drank the cyan potion into his stomach without hesitation. For a moment, he only felt a flow of air surging in his body. Extraordinary power, he understood immediately. Chen Zubo was full of gratitude to Zhang Lin. The pink-haired man is very fast, beyond the limits of ordinary people, and can even dodge bullets. This bottle of light cyan potion was found on the pink-haired man. There is a high probability that it is this bottle of potion that makes the pink-haired man's speed become faster, so fast. Zhang Lin originally wanted to take it home and let Ji Yutong take a look before deciding who to use it. He himself did not like this simple potion, and he might sell it in exchange for contribution points in the future. But at this time, he gave the potion to Chen Zubo. Just to find out the person behind it. He actually deliberately led the zombies to Zhang Lin. If Zhang Lin hadn't braked in time and the Corpse King had stepped on the roof of the car, both Zhang Lin and Chingay might have died. Zhang Lin did not forget this hatred when he beat the Corpse King. That's why he gave the potion to Chen Zubo and asked Chen Zubo to quietly find the man. Chen Zubo had been in the car before. After getting out of the car, he also hid behind the car. The mysterious man may not know the existence of Chen Zubo. If the mysterious man had not left, he might have been caught by Chen Zubo, who had increased his speed. At that time, Zhang Lin wanted him to know the price of offending him. Chen Zubo was a scout. After the potion took effect, he simply adapted to his power, and then started taking action using the stealth and investigation skills he learned in the army. On the other side, the mysterious man frowned slightly. No, the Corpse King has good intelligence. Why is it now attacking that man regardless of the flames on its body? The Corpse King was on fire. It was right to put out the fire with its hands, but at this time, it seemed to be completely angered by Zhang Lin. It attacked Zhang Lin desperately, completely ignoring that the flames on its body continued to burn. The carrion and flesh on its body were still burning. The grease gives the flame plenty of room to burn. Before long, it will be burned into a huge skeleton. But under the hatred of Zhang Lin's aura of dragon power, the Corpse King just wanted to beat Zhang Lin to death as soon as possible, even regardless of his own body being burned. That is the Corpse King. If it were any other creature whose whole body was burned by flames, let alone killing people, it would hurt itself to death. Zombies have almost no pain, which is a benefit. They are not afraid of death, but it is also a disadvantage. For example, right now, it is completely unaware that it is about to die. No, I have to find a way to intervene. The mysterious man couldn't stand it anymore. His best idea was that the Corpse King would fight Zhang Lin and Chingay and both sides would lose. He would clean up the mess, kill the Corpse King, and then ask for extraordinary secrets. But looking at the current situation, Zhang Lin and Chingay will not be harmed when the Corpse King is burned alive. The mysterious man did not dare to mess with these two extraordinary beings who were in good condition. Battlefield. Zhang Lin took advantage of his small size and flexibility and led the Corpse King around in circles. Victory was imminent. He would be a fool to fight with the Corpse King now. And Chingay stopped attacking the Corpse King at this time. She just stood not far away, her eyes following Zhang Lin. She was the insurance. If Zhang Lin went too far and made a mistake, she had to be able to help Zhang Lin in time. Seeing that the flames on the Corpse King were getting stronger and stronger, and the attacks were getting weaker and weaker, the mysterious man became a little anxious. I just have to take some risks, he murmured. If he leaves now, Zhang Lin will have nothing to do with him, but people are greedy. The strength they have shown far exceeds the simple potions before the new era. They are like real extraordinary templates. I must get the method to awaken the extraordinary template before the new era. The mysterious man said to himself, finally convincing himself. He began to take action. Behind the ruins, he quietly changed his position and slowly approached Zhang Lin and the Corpse King. And this attracted Chen Zubo's attention. This area was very large. If the mysterious man stayed still, he would have to look for it bit by bit. But the mysterious man started to move actively at this time, and Chen Zubo caught him instantly. I've got you. When the mysterious man once approached the direction of Zhang Lin and the Corpse King, Chen Zubo took action boldly. At a speed that was so fast that he was not used to it, he instantly came behind the mysterious man. He used all his strength to hit the mysterious man on the head with the back of his knife. Oh my god, and Lao Lu. This was the only thought the mysterious man had before he passed out. Chen Zubo grabbed the mysterious man's collar and walked towards Zhong Lin. And Zhong Lin finally killed the corpse king. The huge body crashed to the ground, with only a few pieces of meat left on it, and the white bones were burned red and black, but the head was still relatively intact. Qing Jie, cut off the ears of the corpse king and take them back to the city lord to receive the reward. Zhong Lin shouted. An ordinary zombie's ears can be exchanged for 1 contribution point. What about the corpse kings? And Qingge, with a red tassel gun in one hand and a machete in the other, walked to the corpse king and started working. Zhong Lin waved to Chen Zubo and asked him to bring the mysterious man to him. The mysterious man is still in a coma. Zhong Lin didn't bother to wait for him to recover, so he directly pulled his hair and said, "Ba bang bang bang." There were more than a dozen big-eared posts. After a while, the mysterious man slowly woke up. He felt a sharp pain in his cheek and looked forward in confusion, just as Zhong Lin's eyes met. Zhong Lin couldn't hold it back and slapped him twice again, cursing and saying, "You're the one who led the corpse king here." As soon as Shi Kun woke up, he received 2 big ear blows. He shook his head and stared at the situation. He saw 2 men standing in front of him. One of them was the man who seemed to have an extraordinary template. The other man, Shi Kun, didn't know him. He hadn't seen it before, but he could guess at this time that it was this unknown man who sneaked up on him and caught him. "What are you talking about? I don't understand at all. I was just passing by." Shi Kun's mind gradually cleared up. He knew that he could never admit that he had caused the corpse king. "Old Chen, go and castrate him." Zhong Lin threw the machete in his hand to Chen Zubo. Chen Zubo took the machete and hesitated a little. He shouldn't be so cruel, right? Shi Kun looked at the saw-toothed machete that was not very sharp at first glance. He couldn't help but swallowed. If he used this knife to castrate himself, it would feel like. He trembled and said quickly, "It's me. The corpse king is chasing me, but I didn't lead him to you on purpose. It was an accident." "Really? I don't believe it." Zhong Lin sneered, "I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Just tell me directly, what is your purpose in bringing the corpse king to me? You only have 1 chance, no matter what you say is true or false. After I listen, if I feel you are not credible, I will castrate you." Shi Kun, is this the devil? The judging criteria is entirely up to you. I'm afraid I'll be castrated by you if I tell the truth. He couldn't help but look at Chen Zubo, his eyes full of pitifulness, hoping that Chen Zubo could be normal. Chen Zubo did think Zhong Lin's interrogation standards were weird, but he didn't dare to say anything. "What I said doesn't count. You should be more honest." He gave Shi Kun a helpless look. "Yes, it's like this. After the zombie king is born, he will soon command all the zombies around him and form a zombie army to sweep everything. I accidentally bumped into the zombie king. It has not yet started to form a zombie army. If I get rid of it now, I am not the opponent of the corpse king, so I plan to lure him near Hope City and use the power of all the masters in Hope City to eliminate the corpse king. As for you, I underestimated the strength of the corpse king. It is very fast. He's catching up with me, so I want to use your help to delay the corpse king." Shi Kun lowered his head and said as if accepting his fate. "I believe half of what you said. I'll give you another chance to tell you the rest." Zhong Lin looked at him and said calmly. Shi Kun was silent for a moment and continued. "I was watching from a distance and saw you using extraordinary abilities, a bit like the extraordinary template after the new era, so I became greedy, so." He didn't say the rest, but everyone knew what he meant. "I said everything, don't kill me." Seeing the coldness in Zhong Lin's eyes, Shi Kun shouted in horror. "Zhong Lin, do you want to kill him?" Chen Zubo asked from the side. He felt that this person also had the idea of getting rid of a harm to mankind at the beginning. Even if he became greedy later, he would not be punished by death. "Old Chen, you are a good person, but your character needs to be changed. If you don't change, you will die soon," Zhong Lin said without any politeness. Chen Zubo looked embarrassed. "However, this is not a bad thing. If you didn't have such a character, I wouldn't be able to make friends with you," Zhong Lin said again. "Thank you." Chen Zubo smiled slightly. "But I definitely want to kill this man." I won't mention the fact that he brought the Corpse King here. He has already seen me and Qingje using the extraordinary template. If I don't kill him, once he tells me, I will Qingje may be in some trouble. Zhang Lin said this, ignoring Shi Kun's frightened eyes, and chopped off his head with a knife. The reason why Shi Kun was interrogated was to find out if he had any other conspiracies or accomplices. At this time, it was already known that he had no value at all, and Zhang Lin acted very neatly. Shi Kun's head fell to the ground, and blood surged from his neck. Watching this scene, Chen Zibo was silent for a moment and sighed, "Hey. I know what you did is right, and I listen to you." "That's right." Zhang Lin patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, "Old Chen, I have an idea. Let's discuss it when I get home later." Chen Zibo nodded, "Okay." At this time, and Qingge also cut off the ears of the Corpse King. The Corpse King was huge and had big ears, bigger than the ears of an elephant. Fortunately, the takeout box was big enough, and not many other zombies were killed today. It barely fits into a takeout box. The car broke down, how are we going to get back? And Qingge walked over with a spear in one hand and a takeout box in the other. The van definitely couldn't be driven, as both front wheels were blown out. Fortunately, this is the end of the world, and there is no shortage of cars on the roadside. Zhang Lin didn't want one with zombies inside, it was too dirty, and it wouldn't be good if he was infected with the zombie virus, so he found one parked on the roadside, but there was a problem, there was no key in the car. "Old Chen, you used to be a scout. Have you ever learned how to wire? It's like in the movie, where you take out two wires and you can start a fire as soon as you connect them." Zhang Lin turned to ask Chen Zibo. "What we are learning is investigation, not car theft," he explained helplessly, and then said, "But I really know how to do it. Let me take a look at the car first. Some of the different models can be wired, and some can't." With that said, he walked up and looked at the model of the car. Then he sat in the driver's seat, opened the dashboard, fiddled with it for a while, took out two wires and connected them, and the car turned on instantly. For the rest of the journey, Chen Zibo acted as the driver, Zhang Lin and Qingge sat in the back seat, and the takeaway boxes were thrown into the trunk. 20 minutes later, Zhang Lin and his party arrived at Hope City. Looking at the city of Hope, which is still prosperous in the apocalypse, with people coming and going, and no one looking hungry, Chen Zibo was shocked. Is there such a pure land in the apocalypse? It's not a pure land. There are few people here now. When there are more people in the future, both living space and food will become scarce resources. By then, this place should become a place like a slum. Zhang Lin asked Chen Zibo to stop at the door of the car dealership. "Down. Manager Shaw, my car is broken down, can I apply for another one?" He jumped out of the car and looked for the manager of the car dealership. The family cars you can find casually on the roadside are not as comfortable to drive as the minivan specially modified by the city owner. "Broken." Manager Che Xingsha ran out and looked around. "Where's the car? Let me see if it can be repaired first." The car didn't come back. Zhang Lin spread his hands. To be precise, the car didn't come back because it was flat. "It's flat." Manager Shaw stared and thought about the word, flat, carefully. What kind of driving skills can make the car flat? In the end, Zhang Lin applied for a new modified Wuling car. If he is the captain of the 5th team, it probably won't work. However, the city owner publicly stated that he was the future captain of the 2nd team. Although manager Che Xingsha felt that this move was somewhat illegal, he still did not dare to refuse Zhang Lin in the end. Zhang Lin took Chen Zibo to the exchange office to redeem contribution points, introduced him to Hope City, and then asked Qingge to go back first and inform the twin cooks to cook some dishes and prepare some wine. He would entertain Chen Zibo in the evening. "Since you are here, stay in Hope City from now on. This place is much safer than outside." When they arrived at the exchange office, Zhang Lin said to Chen Zibo while queuing up, "Well, I will listen to your arrangements." Although Chen Zibo is a good old man, he is not stupid. He can roughly understand Zhang Lin's thoughts at this time. "Hey, Captain Zhang came back so early today." When the residents of Hope City who were queuing up saw Zhang Lin, they all gave up their seats. Come on, you can just go and redeem, don't wait in line." Everyone took the initiative to give up their position. Every time Zhang Lin came to redeem, it was a blow to others. Others were already very good at killing a dozen zombies, but before they could show off their awesomeness, Zhang Lin would always take out the ears of dozens of zombies. Just let Zhang Lin redeem it first, and then let him leave as soon as possible, out of sight and out of mind. Then I won't be polite. Zhang Lin smiled slightly, walked directly to the exchange office, and placed his takeout box on the table. Chen Zubo followed Zhang Lin and marveled in his heart, Zhang Lin has such a high status in this place. Others took the initiative to give up their positions and let him redeem first. It seems that everyone respects Zhang Lin. Captain Zhang, how many zombies have you killed today? The staff at the exchange office asked with a smile. After the first two experiences, he felt that no matter how many zombie ears Zhang Lin took out now, he would not be surprised. Everyone around also looked over. Everyone speculated whether Zhang Lin would bring out more zombie ears this time than before. There are only 20 or 30 zombie ears today. Zhang Lin opened his takeout box as he spoke. 20 or 30. Everyone frowned in confusion. Although Zhang Lin came back earlier today, it took most of the day to kill 20 or 30 zombies. It was obviously not his style. Could it be that Zhang Lin really had some knack before, but now, his knack has failed, so he can't kill so many zombies? Many people were gloating in their hearts. People are like this. Zhang Lin was relatively high profile before, and because of the city lord's regard, he felt a bit sharp. Many people were unhappy with him, but they didn't dare to express it and could only keep it in their hearts. At this time, seeing that Zhang Lin was not as successful as before, he naturally laughed in his heart. Captain Zhang, your trick has failed. I asked you yesterday about the buying tips and you still refused to sell. Do you regret it now? Someone even asked directly. Although the tone did not dare to be sarcastic, the meaning behind the words was that they were secretly mocking Zhang Lin. Haha, Zhang Lin didn't bother to pay attention to that person, and said to the staff at the exchange office, "Brother, exchange it for me." Okay, the staff member stuttered a little. Others couldn't see the contents of the takeout box, but he might have seen it. Indeed, zombies do not have many ears, only about 30. But one of them is completely different from the other zombie ears. Zombie ears bigger than elephant ears were stuffed into the takeout box. They were bloody and terrifying. The staff swallowed and said, Captain Zhang killed 31 zombies and exchanged for 31 contribution points. How much is this worth? Zhang Lin asked, pointing to the huge corpse king ears. Ah, the staff member hesitated for a moment, I have to ask the city lord for instructions on this. The city lord never thought that someone could kill the corpse king alone, so there were no rules at all regarding the redemption of the corpse king's ears. What's going on ahead? The team behind saw the staff running away, and they immediately started talking. Another staff member took over the position. He smiled apologetically at Zhang Lin and said, Captain Zhang, please wait a moment and let others redeem it, okay? Zhang Lin smiled slightly, moved to the side, and gave up the exchange position. Thanks. The staff member nodded gratefully to him and then shouted, next one. A person behind Zhang Lin stepped forward and threw the plastic bag in his hand on the table, 12, you count. After saying that, while the staff was counting their ears, he glanced at Zhang Lin's takeout box. It didn't matter. He couldn't help but screamed, this is, the corpse king. Good eyesight. Zhang Lin glanced at him and said, really the king of corpses? The man's eyes widened in disbelief. He wanted to take a closer look, but he didn't dare. The corpse king. The people around also heard the word, zombie king, and were confused at first. But as everyone came closer and saw the huge zombie ears in the takeout box, everyone screamed. You are really the king of corpses. Killing the corpse king alone before the new era, what kind of operation is this? I'm convinced, I'm really convinced this time. He did kill fewer zombies, but this zombie king is worth 1,000 zombies. Brother, take my knees off. Quote. Everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. They looked at the ears of the corpse king, then looked at Zhang Lin, and seemed to wonder what kind of monster could kill the corpse king alone before the new era. Give way, the city lord is here. The staff member who ran away before came back. Behind him was the city lord in a white robe and a silver mask. The city lord was as vague and indifferent as ever, his steps were steady and unhurried, but no one present could tell that the city lord's steps today were slightly larger than before. Zhang Lin, you can really surprise me. The city lord's androgynous voice sounded. Then, he came to the takeout box, lowered his head and looked over carefully. After a while, it really is the Corpse King's ears. Quote, City Lord, how many contribution points can I get for the ears of the Corpse King? Zhang Lin asked lightly. Contribution. The city lord couldn't help but sneered. Zhang Lin, when you were with Xiaoji, don't just think about how to have love. Ask her to tell you more about her memories of previous lives. Quote. Zhang Lin, he continued. You killed the Corpse King, which means you have eliminated a powerful enemy for the future City of Hope. Such a feat cannot be rewarded by a mere contribution point. Zhang Lin showed an interested expression. Oh, what will the city master reward me? Chapter 51. Before the new era, there weren't many good things I could come up with. The city lord shook his head slightly. I didn't expect anyone to be able to kill the Corpse King alone, so I wasn't prepared. Zhang Lin, if you believe me, your reward will be better after the new era. How about I give it to you again? Draw a cake for me. Zhang Lin frowned slightly and said, City Lord, if you don't want to give, forget it, just give me some contribution points. The slender eyebrows under the silver-white mask of the City Lord were slightly raised. He really couldn't see through Zhang Lin. The other reborns all respected and trusted him immensely. On the contrary, Zhang Lin, a person who had never awakened the memory of his previous life, was never polite to him. But the City Lord is really not angry. His purpose in preparing Hope City is to cultivate more strong people. Humanity has been extinct many times. If some of the reborn people can survive the end of the world will not reincarnate again and again. Hope may lie in people like Zhang Lin who have never awakened their past life memories. The City Lord himself has awakened memories far more times than anyone else, and he knows more secrets, but the real good things can only be obtained after the new era. Zhang Lin has shown great potential, and he did not hesitate to help Zhang Lin get those good things. Contribution points must be given, and rewards must also be given. The City Lord smiled lightly. I will have someone recharge your account with 1,000 contribution points in a while. You take the flowers first. I will definitely cash in the real rewards after the new era. Then I will believe you once. Zhang Lin smiled. As a veteran laborer, he couldn't digest the pie the boss proposed. He didn't care about the subsequent rewards. He was satisfied with getting 1,000 contribution points. The City Lord nodded speechlessly. What does it mean to believe him once? Does it mean that Zhang Lin never believed in him before? The appearance of the Zombie King also means that the period of Resident Evil is coming to an end. We will soon face the danger of the zombie army sieging the city. Next, you must start hoarding food, improve your strength, and find more living people and bring them to Hope. Come to the city and prepare for the zombie siege and the 2 realms of ice and fire that will follow. The City Lord stood with his hands behind his hands and said to everyone in a calm tone. Yes, City Lord, everyone is respectful. The City Lord felt a little relieved. Not everyone was like Zhang Lin and was so rude to him, the founder of Hope City. Zhang Lin, although you are good at it, you don't have that much experience after all. Go back and communicate with Xiaoji more, got it? He explained to Zhang Lin again. This made everyone present envious. No one has ever seen the City Lord care so much about anyone alone. No, Zhang Lin said something perfunctory, but thought in his heart that he would definitely communicate with Ji Yutong when he returned, but the communication place would be on the bed. The City Lord saw Zhang Lin's perfunctory attitude at a glance, snorted displeased ly, turned around and left. The City Lord left. Everyone's eyes were focused on the Corpse King's ears. The person who had secretly laughed at Zhang Lin suddenly said, Captain Zhang, I want to buy the Corpse King's cerebrospinal fluid in your hand. I wonder how much you want to contribute to sell it. Corpse King cerebrospinal fluid. Zhang Lin knew that zombie cerebrospinal fluid was the main material for making half-zombie potions, but he really didn't think about collecting it at that time. I don't have the Corpse King's cerebrospinal fluid, he said calmly. No, Wei Qiliang was stunned for a moment, his eyes suddenly widened, and he said in an uncertain tone, Captain Zhang, you didn't collect the cerebrospinal fluid of the Corpse King. No, quote. Wei Qiliang was speechless for a long time, and suddenly his tone became a little excited. Tell me the location of the corpse king's body, and I'll go get it. As soon as he said this, everyone else around him also reacted, and they all immediately understood Wei Qiliang's thoughts. Captain Zhang, tell me the location. I'll go get it and give Captain Zhang half of it. I. Quote. A group of people gathered next to Zhang Lin and asked about the location of the corpse king's body. It can be seen that the cerebrospinal fluid of the corpse king is a good material. What's the use of this thing? Zhang Lin was also a little curious. Isn't it really a good thing that was thrown away by me? The cerebrospinal fluid of the corpse king is the main material for making extraordinary zombie-type templates. It is almost the only awakening potion that can be successfully produced before the new era. Wei Qiliang said truthfully. The main reason is that there is no way to tell lies now. There are too many people. If he doesn't say it, others will tell it, which will anger Zhang Lin. It's a zombie-type extraordinary template, that's boring. Zhang Lin was relieved. If something important was really lost, he would be very distressed. When Wei Qiliang heard Zhang Lin's words, he gave him a complicated look and continued to plead, since you don't need it, just tell me the location. Every stage of the end of the world is very dangerous. Even if you have memories of several lives, no one can guarantee that you will survive. There are too many people awakening their memories. Under the butterfly effect, every apocalyptic crisis is different. Although the upper limit of the zombie template is not high, for most ordinary people, this is the only way to awaken the extraordinary template in the early days of the end of the world. If you can awaken your extraordinary template before others have awakened, it will not only improve your chances of survival in the early stages of the apocalypse, but you will also be able to seize the opportunity and compete for more resources after the new era by leveraging your strong initial strength. People like Zhang Lin who have directly awakened the legendary template naturally look down on zombie templates, but for ordinary people like Wei Qiliang, zombie templates in the early apocalypse are treasures. Haha, but Zhang Lin didn't forget that someone in the crowd laughed at him before. It seemed to be this person. I don't need it, why should I tell you? Captain Zhang, Wei Qiliang regretted his mistake and his face turned red. He cursed himself in his heart. Why did he have to be the meanest to say those two sentences? Captain Zhang, I have always admired you and am your crazy fan. Just tell me the location of the corpse king's body. After the zombie template awakening potion is successfully made, I am willing to share it with you. Someone shouted. Zhang Lin just gave the man a blank look. What nonsense, all the idiot fans are out. A group of people were bustling and shouting. Everyone wanted to know the location of the corpse king's body, which made Zhang Lin tireless. Shut up, everyone, listen to me. Zhang Lin suddenly roared, shocking everyone, and then slowly said, now, you bid for the auction, starting from a contribution point, there is no cap, the price is high, the one who wins. As soon as these words came out, everyone shut up. The corpse of the corpse king was randomly discarded in the wild, and might have been eaten by other zombies or taken away by passers-by. If you spend money to buy, easy to lose money. Seeing that everyone was silent, Zhang Lin chuckled and said, since no one wants to buy it, let's keep the corpse of the zombie king for other zombies. After saying that, he pushed away the crowd and was about to leave. Suddenly, Wei Qiliang stopped him and said, Captain Zhang, I'll buy it. I'm willing to make a contribution. In fact, Zhang Lin was just trying. To be honest, he himself felt that if he spent contribution points to buy the position of the corpse king, he would probably lose money. There are too many surprises that can happen out there. He just doesn't want to take advantage of others casually. If there is an acquaintance who needs the position of the corpse king, he can even give it away for free. He didn't want to be harassed by these people, so he came up with the idea of an auction. Zhang Lin really doesn't think anyone will buy it. Unexpectedly, I really have so much money that I have nowhere to spend it. How many contribution points do you give? Zhang Lin looked at Wei Qiliang strangely. Wei Qiliang hesitated slightly. You also know that it is the early days of the end of the world, and those of us don't actually have many contributions, and we can't compare with you. Don't talk nonsense. It's over if you just ask for a price. Zhang Lin said angrily. He was the only one who made an offer now, and he would sell whatever the price was. Earn a little bit. 30. Wei Qiliang tentatively made a price. Bye-bye. Zhang Lin left directly. Although I have the idea of earning a little, 30 is too little, so why not send me away as a beggar? Wait. Wei Qiliang quickly grabbed Zhang Lin's clothes and said, I'll add more money. Is 50 okay? In fact, even though ordinary people like them have awakened some memories of their past lives, they do not mean that they are truly reborn. They just have scattered memories in their minds. In addition, every apocalypse is changing and the crises are different. They are actually just a little stronger than ordinary people. Zhang Lin arrived at Hope City neither too early nor too late. Those of them who arrived early, even if they killed zombies every day, would only have a few dozen contribution points in their savings. He can give out 50 at a time, which is not a small amount. Zhang Lin thought for a while and felt that that was it. No matter how much he asked for it, Wei Qiliang probably wouldn't be able to afford it. I'll pay 60. A middle-aged man with a beard suddenly roared. Zhang Lin looked over instantly. Brother, if you have the vision, let's make a deal. I'll pay 65. Wei Qiliang glanced at the man with a murderous look, and had no choice but to increase the price. He knew how to make a rare level of zombie template awakening potion. If he could get the cerebrospinal fluid of the zombie king, he would be easier to survive in the early and middle stages of the apocalypse. Otherwise, he would not take the risk to buy the location of the corpse king's body. 70. The bearded man shouted again. Seeing some competition, others couldn't help it anymore and started to increase their prices one after another. There were not many rich people, and most of them increased their prices little by little. Seeing that the situation was getting worse, Wei Qiliang quickly shouted, I'll give you 100, let's see who dares to compete with me. Suddenly, the scene was completely silent. 100 contribution points is an astronomical number for most people at this stage. Wei Qiliang looked around and saw that no one dared to speak, so he quickly said to Zhang Lin, Captain Zhang, let's make a deal. Zhang Lin also looked around and saw that no one dared to bid again, so he could only agree, okay. Afterwards, both of them took out the special elderly machine customized by the city owner, added each other's accounts, and completed the transfer. Good brother, there are not many courageous people like you. I believe your future will be limitless. Come on. Zhang Lin was in a good mood with the unexpected gain. After telling him the location of the corpse king's body, he patted Wei Qiliang's shoulder and served him a bowl of hot chicken soup. Wei Qiliang was greatly encouraged. Zhang Lin is a person valued by the city lord. The second captain of Hope City after the new era can be said to be the third person in Hope City. If such a person thinks highly of him, doesn't this mean that he has a bright future? Thank you for your encouragement. I will definitely live my own life in this life. Wei Qiliang's cheeks turned red with excitement. He gave Zhang Lin a fist and turned to leave. A group of people immediately followed. These people who have awakened the memories of several lifetimes are basically not good people. Although they did not get the news from Zhang Lin, they can follow Wei Qiliang. When the time comes, you might be able to get a share of the pie. Wei Qiliang naturally knew this, so he went straight to the car dealership, rented a car, and immediately drove towards the direction of the corpse king. He wanted to get the corpse king's cerebrospinal fluid before everyone arrived, and then leave safely. And hope within the city. Zhang Lin took Chen Zubo back home. The twin little cooks had already cooked a table of dishes, and even took the food to a neighbor in exchange for a few bottles of white wine. Zhang Lin was very sincere in entertaining Chen Zubo. As soon as Chen Zubo entered the room, he saw a table full of Yin Yin Yan Yan sitting at the dining table. He was speechless and looked at Zhang Lin with a strange look. When Zhang Lin left the apartment, he took 3 women with him. In just a few days, there were 2 more, a pair of young and beautiful twin sisters. Even though Chen Zubo was usually upright, he felt a little sour and envious at this moment. Old Chen, this is what I think. After drinking for 3 rounds, Zhang Lin and Chen Zubo talked about business. I am used to fighting alone, but, if I can have a good person under me, the team can help me when it's critical, which is pretty good. I probably understand what you mean, go on. Chen Zubo's face was rosy and slightly drunk, but his thinking was still clear. I will provide money and supplies, and you can recruit some reliable people to form a team. You will do whatever you are supposed to do on weekdays, and listen to my orders at critical times. What do you think? Zhang Lin asked. You mean, you just want to be a hands-off shopkeeper? Chen Zibo thought for a moment. I think with your strength, leading the team yourself will definitely have better results than me. Haha, I don't have time. Zhang Lin smiled and declined. He had to be busy getting married and having children. If you believe in me, I can help you form a reliable team. Chen Zibo was really drunk and held Zhang Lin's hand, very touched by Zhang Lin's trust. In the apocalypse, resources are the most scarce thing. Zhang Lin can give him supplies without any doubt. Doesn't this mean he treats him as a brother? Zhang Lin first took his hand out and was held by a big man. It was disgusting. Then he smiled and said, "Good brother, keep drinking." After the women finished eating, they went back. Zhang Lin drank with Chen Zibo for a while and studied the details of forming a team. He had already had this idea. Ji Yutong told him that after the new era, although there will be many powerful loners, if there is a team, not only will the chance of survival be greater, but it will also be easier to seize various resources. Zhang Lin was too lazy to start his own team, but he could use Chen Zibo. He knew Chen Zibo himself, and Ji Yutong also knew Chen Zibo in his previous life. Both of them felt that this person was good and trustworthy, so Zhang Lin decided to recruit Chen Zibo. Thoughts for one's own use. Others can either be a lone ranger and mainly improve their own strength. The lone ranger is free, but when facing a team, he is weak and has to give in. Or, run a team and develop the overall strength of the team. But developing a team is more labor-intensive. The advantage is that more people are stronger, making it easier to seize various resources. Zhang Lin, on the other hand, has to grab it with both hands, and he has to be hard. This is what Zhang Lin envisioned. The rewards he received for marrying a wife and having children were first used on himself and his women to improve his and Enchingi's strength. Later, some unused items were given to Chen Zibo and his team. In terms of strength, Zhang Lin himself is definitely the strongest, followed by the women around him, and then, Chen Zibo and the cannon fodder team. If someone wants to make an enemy of Zhang Lin in the future, they will probably be desperate. If it is a strong lone traveler, Zhang Lin can handle it by himself. If it is a strong person with a team, then Zhang Lin can first use Chen Zibo's cannon fodder team to test, and then he and the women can go up. In this way, it can be regarded as foolproof. If resources are abundant in the future, more cannon fodder teams can be created. In this way, Zhang Lin will have more trump cards. However, just like Chen Zibo, who has too few people he can trust and gives supplies to others casually, Zhang Lin is afraid that Rubaozi will never come back. Therefore, Zhang Lin feels that more cannon fodder teams can be used, but they need to be more cautious. At night, Zhang Lin sent Chen Zibo to Villa number 5 to rest, and then returned to number 16 and went directly to the second bedroom on the second floor. And Qingge already has a baby in her belly, and half of the reward for giving birth has been paid in advance. Now is the time to work hard on Ji Yutong. Opening the bedroom door, Ji Yutong had fallen asleep. She woke up after hearing the noise. She turned on the light, rubbed her sleepy eyes. You're here. She was a little scared. She was a fool and made a joke, but Qingge discovered Zhang Lin's thoughts about Qingwu. She didn't know how Zhang Lin would deal with her. When she was just eating, she didn't dare to look at Zhang Lin. She didn't dare to say hello to Chen Zibo, an old acquaintance, for fear of being noticed by Zhang Lin. Are you afraid of me? Zhang Lin was a little confused. Hasn't this woman always been carefree? No way. Ji Yutong smiled reluctantly, feeling that the long-term pain was worse than the short-term pain, so he took the initiative to ask, there is no conflict between you and Qingge, right? What's the contradiction? Zhang Lin looked strange. It's just, you have thoughts about Xiao Wu. After Ji Yutong finished speaking, he looked determined and felt that he was dead. In fact, how did she know that the things she thought were big problems were not problems at all in Zhang Lin's opinion? There was nothing between him and Qingge that couldn't be solved with a violent bombardment. Did you spill the beans? Zhang Lin finally realized what he was talking about. Qingge is considering it. What are you considering? Ji Yutong looked confused. She could see that Qingge was someone who cared very much about his sister. Could it be that Qingge wasn't angry when Zhang Lin had an idea for Qingge's sister? How did you do it? Ji Yutong's beautiful eyes widened to the maximum, and she thought hard, but after thinking for a long time, she couldn't think of an answer. If it were her, there would be nothing she could do. Consider whether to let Xiao Wu follow me. I think Qing Jie will figure it out. Quote. Ji Yutong. She suddenly wanted to ask, brother, how did you do it? Even if she is a woman, she wants to learn Zhang Lin's methods. If she really asked, Zhang Lin could only say, sincerity is the eternal nirvana. After the confession, and Qingge understood Zhang Lin a little better. She thought to herself, Zhang Lin had no choice but to do it for this family. Okay, don't mention this anymore. Qingge is already pregnant with the baby. You should give me some encouragement. As Zhang Lin spoke, he had already reached her side, pressing her hands as white and smooth as jade. With a little effort on her shoulders, she was already lying flat on the bed. I hate it, it's so late, I want to sleep. Ji Yutong symbolically twisted her body on the bed a few times to express her refusal to prove that she was still very reserved. Then after Zhang Lin pounced on her, she began to be proactive. The night is getting dark. The wind is very noisy. And Qingge was in a very uneasy mood in the master bedroom on the second floor. The soundproofing of the house in Hope City was pretty good, but there was too much movement next door, and she could still hear some sounds. Zhang Lin didn't come to see her. This made Qingge feel a little sour. Although she has long known that Zhang Lin does not belong to her, and this will be the norm in the future, but she is unhappy just because she is unhappy, and she cannot deceive herself. Feeling depressed, she began to think about what Zhang Lin had said to her during the day. It doesn't matter to others, but Xiao Wu. After all, she is her sister. It's not that Zhang Lin is bad. If it weren't for her relationship with Zhang Lin, she would definitely support her sister and Zhang Lin being together. But now that she is Zhang Lin's woman, if Xiao Wu follows Zhang Lin, both sisters will. What will happen? And Qingge spent the whole day thinking about this matter in his mind, except when he was fighting. If it was said that Zhang Lin only wanted Qingwu's attention because of his lust, then Qingge would not agree to anything. But after having the cover of getting rewards, although she still resisted in her heart, her resistance has been reduced a lot. How about, I'll ask Xiao Wu for her opinion. If she is willing, then I won't say anything. In the middle of the night, Qingge, who couldn't sleep, walked up to the third floor and knocked on his sister's door, wearing a thin nightgown. Early next morning, while eating breakfast, Zhang Lin felt that Qingwu was looking at him strangely. When he wasn't paying attention, she looked at him in a daze, as if she was thinking about something. When he looked over, she looked away in a panic. Could it be? An idea suddenly came to Zhang Lin's mind. Qingge has already told her. He looked at Qingge. Qingge's white cheeks showed a slightly embarrassing blush. Her red lips came to Zhang Lin's ear and said, let Xiao Wu think about it, she will figure it out. Last night, she woke up her sleeping sister and chatted with her for a long time. She first asked Qingwu in a roundabout way what she thought of Zhang Lin. After getting a good answer, she got straight to the point. Qingge's personality is similar to Zhang Lin's, and he likes to be more direct. Qingwu was confused at that time. She never imagined that her sister would mention such a thing to herself. Before this, Qingwu could guarantee that she only admired her brother-in-law and had no feelings between men and women. But after her sister mentioned this matter, a strange thought came to her mind. There are too many bad women. If I don't help my sister, will she fall out of favor? You know, there is Ji Yutong in the family, as well as sisters Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui. However, if you yourself. What a shame. Qingwu lost her soul after eating a meal and couldn't keep her soul. She was confused until Zhang Lin and Qingge went out. Xiao Wu, what are you thinking about? Ji Yutong leaned over, looking like a close sister. Why don't you talk to me? To be honest, Ji Yutong really didn't want to help Zhang Lin persuade Qingwu. Doesn't this add more competitors to yourself? But very helpless. It's just Zhang Lin's mission. Last night, if she didn't agree, maybe she would be dehydrated by now. Walking out of Hope City again, Zhang Lin found that there were far fewer zombies everywhere in the past. The Zombie King is a natural leader of zombies. When the Corpse King appears, the zombies will gather under his command. Unlike the past where they only wandered on the flat terrain, under the command of the wise Corpse King, they will go upstairs and search each room one by one, and then eat all living creatures. Then, human gathering places like Hope City will be surrounded by zombie armies. This is the first difficulty that mankind will face after the end of the world. If it cannot be overcome, mankind will soon become extinct. On the road, more and more people are driving. The main task of the survivors in the apocalypse is to collect supplies and find living people. Supplies can keep oneself alive, and bringing more vitality to Hope City can increase everyone's chance of survival. When Zhong Lin came out this time, in addition to Nqingge, he also brought Chen Zibo. He came out not to search for supplies or to collect living people, but to investigate the situation. Last night, he didn't just play games with Ji Yutong. He also had an in-depth understanding with Ji Yutong about the situation of the end of the world. Zombie siege. Anyone can die. Extremely fair. Even Zhong Lin doesn't dare to slack off now. Zhong Lin, look over there. And Nqingge was sitting in the back seat, looking at the situation outside through the car window. Suddenly, when she saw an office building in the distance, her eyes narrowed and she immediately pointed it out. Zhong Lin looked. Chen Zibo was in charge of driving, and Zhong Lin was also in the back seat. After hearing the sound, he looked over and was also startled. Old Chen, change the direction and don't drive in any direction. Oh my God. Chen Zibo also looked over, and after just one glance, he immediately turned the steering wheel and changed his position. Below the office building, I saw a small commercial plaza, crowded with a dense army of zombies. It was as if there was no end to the horizon at a glance, as if it was endless. The center of the zombie army is the tall zombie king. The zombies have begun to gather and begin to siege the city and clear out the living people in the building one by one. For zombies, living humans are their food and their source of soldiers. In the past, without the command of the zombie king, they only knew how to hunt like wild beasts. But now, united under the command of the zombie king, the zombies have exploded with terrifying fighting power. At this time, even though Chen Zibo was a good old man who would rescue others when he saw them in danger, he did not dare to say anything about going to the office building to save people. Zhong Lin, can humans really survive such a terrifying zombie army? Chen Zibo only glanced at it. After a while, his hands were still shaking slightly. Humanity has experienced this kind of crisis many times. Zhong Lin said calmly, although many people will die, it will be fine as long as we don't die. Hey, Chen Zibo sighed and stopped talking. In this kind of crisis, all human beings can do is to preserve themselves and think about others. That is because they cannot die quickly enough. After driving around Hope City for a while and collecting a lot of food and supplies, the three of them returned to Hope City. Zhong Lin brought all the supplies and food to Villa number 16. He asked Chen Zibo to recruit people quickly and come to him to collect the supplies based on the number of people. Although Zhong Lin believed in Chen Zibo's character, he would not hand over power at will when it came to a team's logistics and supplies. When he got home, Zhong Lin didn't even bother to ask Nqingwu about what happened there. Instead, he called Ji Yutong out directly and told her about what he had just seen. The zombie siege this time is much earlier than before. According to the previous rules, we still have at least more than a week to prepare. But now, I estimate that the zombie army will arrive in only 3 to 5 days. Ji Yutong it also showed a sad look. Zhong Lin was not too panicked. There is too much food stored in his space ring, and it is all fresh fruits, vegetables and meat. When the time comes that Hope City cannot be defended, he will find a place to live in peace and live well. Although he was still a captain in Hope City, Zhong Lin really never thought about working for others. It is even less possible to fight zombies in Hope City. If this zombie siege is really unstoppable, Zhong Lin will take the first step. Then, Zhong Lin followed the previous city lord's instructions and did not play games with Ji Yutong, but carefully asked her about the various memories she had awakened about the end of the world. At least, plan a route first and a destination where you can live and survive. Zhong Lin was thinking hard here, but he hadn't come up with a good idea yet, but he was disturbed by the noise outside. He stood by the window and looked out, only to see that Hope City was bustling with people crowded in every corner. They used various simple materials to build tents to create a place for themselves. I hope there are more and more people in the city. Ji Yutong also followed over and looked at the situation outside and said. This is the purpose of the city lord, to accept so many people but not provide them with food. If these people want to survive, they can only hunt zombies to earn contribution points, or bring more people. In this way, in the zombie siege before arriving, I hope the city can gather enough people, and most of them have combat experience. The city lord's method is indeed good. Zhong Lin nodded in approval. There are disadvantages to a large population. Ji Yutong said with a wry smile. A large population will lead to chaos, especially when it comes to food. Just during the time you went out during the day, many people died near our house. When there are more people, there will inevitably be those who don't want to live in tents, and they will challenge those who have houses. No matter who wins or loses, many people will die. And Qingwu also came over. In the morning, she was persuaded by Ji Yutong again. She was already shaken, but she would definitely not take the initiative to speak about this matter. Zhong Lin came back and was busy with business, so she was inevitably a little anxious, so she came over to check his presence, feel. While speaking, she secretly glanced at Zhong Lin. Zhong Lin looked back at her, and she quickly looked away. Such a shy look. Zhong Lin can conclude that this matter is done. Just die. I guess this is one of the city lord's purposes. Only after seeing blood can a person be a qualified warrior. He said calmly. Then what? You guys talk, I have something to do and I'm going back to the house first. Ji Yutong slipped away very discerningly. Xiao Wu, come here. Zhong Lin waved to her and asked her to come to him. Brother-in-law, and Qingwu walked to Zhong Lin's side nervously, lowering her head, not wanting Zhong Lin to see her blushing cheeks. Xiao Wu, Qing has told you everything he needs to say, what do you think? Zhong Lin asked straightforwardly. And Qingwu opened her pink lips, too embarrassed to speak. She looked out the window, and the scene outside attracted her attention. A reborn person stood at the door of his villa, holding a few buns in his hand, just like feeding animals in a zoo. He threw the buns away, and the buns flew out, and several women were competing for food. Like a monkey, he jumped forward rolling and crawling. They fight against their own kind. Just for these junk foods that they might not have even looked at in the past. In Hope City, most of the young and strong men are not short of food. A few people go out together to kill zombies. If they are lucky, they can bring back a few living people, exchange them for contribution points, and then exchange them for food. There is no problem with food and clothing. The same cannot be said for weak women and the elderly. Not many days after the end of the world, a very ancient industry has emerged in Hope City. Many women live by selling their bodies. The men in Hope City have been hunting zombies all day, and they also need some entertainment to relieve their mental tension. And Qingwu knew this. Ji Yutong told her that she could see it herself. Sometimes, she would be upstairs looking outside. A man would hand a woman a bag of instant noodles, and the woman would follow the man to the woods. Inside. At this time, the reborn person next door was like this. He teased the women with food, and those women also acted like animals to please him without dignity. The reborn laughed. A few buns were not enough to eat. After several women finished eating the buns, they all came in front of the reborn man. The reborn man looked at them carefully. After a while, he pointed at two of them. He was pretty and asked them to follow him into the villa. The other women left with their heads down like defeated dogs. And Qingwu suddenly discovered that her life now was not much worse than before the apocalypse. Except for being hungry for a few days at the beginning of the apocalypse, she never lacked for food. After arriving in Hope City, she even ate fresh food every day, food. If compared with before the end of the world, her current life is only inferior to some entertainment, but compared with those women outside, her life can be said to be like heaven. Xiao Wu, do you have a grudge in your heart? Zhong Lin approached her, held one of her little hands, and touched her hair with the other hand. I won't force you, otherwise, I will give you a few more days. Consider it. And Qingwu's whole body tensed up. Because An Qingge was almost forced by her father to sell herself, she was very serious about protecting herself and her sister. And Qingwu had never had such close contact with a man since she was a child. Brother-in-law, I don't have so many ideas. Just be nice to me and my sister from now on. And Qingwu felt her face burning. She didn't know how she had the courage to say this. Zhong Lin was overjoyed, looked down at her eyes, and asked seriously, then are you willing to be my wife? And Qingwu felt dizzy. Isn't Zhang Lin's wife his sister? Can she still be considered his wife like this? Quote. I do. After hesitating for a moment, she lowered her head and said something in an extremely small voice. No matter what, it sounds much better than calling me lover or anything else. Those women outside give everything for food, not even playthings. Congratulations, you have married another wife. Your family has become more prosperous. You have received the following rewards. Adaptive Extraordinary Template Awakening Gem 2. The moment the system's voice sounded, Zhang Lin knew that Qingwu was willing to be his woman. There are 2 more gems, just for Qingwu and Ji Yutong. The system seems to be able to know Zhang Lin's needs. Basically, what kind of reward Zhang Lin wants, or what he lacks, will be given. Zhang Lin had thought before that it would be great if he could be rewarded with 2 more gems this time, so that both Ji Yutong and Qingwu could awaken their extraordinary templates and increase their combat effectiveness. Sure enough, this time Zhang Lin got his wish. In the subsequent zombie siege crisis, Zhang Lin had more trump cards. Good boy. Zhang Lin pinched Qingwu's smooth and elastic face with a smile on his face, leaned into her ear and said, "Don't lock the door at night, I'll go find you." I know. And Qingwu was panicking, her face was hot, and her slender legs were tightly pressed together. Especially the hot air spraying from her ears with Zhang Lin's breath made her almost completely lose her ability to think. After standing blankly by the window for who knows how long, Qingwu was brought back to her senses by a gust of cold wind. At this time, she discovered that Zhang Lin had gone nowhere. She felt so panicked when she thought that Zhang Lin was coming to see her in the evening. After hesitating for a long time, she decided to go to her sister's room and have a chat with her. On the other side, Zhang Lin had already left his small villa, and was wandering around Hope City. Next to him was the petite Ji Yutong. Hope the city is crowded now. But after the zombie siege, the number of people here will be reduced by at least 2/3. The end of the world is so cruel. Without strength, you can't even live a humble life. Zhang Lin's purpose of coming out this time was to familiarize himself with the terrain of Hope City, so that he could escape easily in case he never fought zombies in the future. As an old resident of Hope City, Ji Yutong was responsible for guiding him. But to outsiders, the 2 of them were just wandering around without any purpose, looking here and there. Of course, in the bustling city of Hope, no one paid attention to the whereabouts of the 2 people. Except for people who know Zhang Lin. In the distance, I saw Zhang Lin passing by the door again. The owner of a certain house couldn't hold it in any longer, he deliberately wandered around in front of my door to provoke me. Li Jing couldn't help but speak angrily. He looks in his 20s, has a strong body, a ruddy complexion, and is full of energy. He is in a completely different state from those hungry people outside. Brother Zhao, how about we go out and kill him? Next to him, the person he calls Brother Zhao is another young man. He is about 27 or 28 years old and has a regular figure. He doesn't look like anything special, but his face is calm and he has an aura of calmness and self-importance. I am the one who was deprived of the position of captain of the second team. Why are you anxious? Lu Dazhao glanced at him and his tone was very indifferent. But you are now the captain of the third team, and your position has been squeezed out by him. Li Jing was furious, as if he was even angrier than Lu Dazhao. Lu Dazhao was unmoved at all. I would naturally be unhappy if my position was challenged, but if it were him, I would be convinced. Brother Zhao, you. Li Jing was extremely unwilling. Of course, he was not unhappy because Lu Dazhao's status had been reduced by 1, but because his own status had also been affected because of Zhang Lin. Li Jing has always been the 4th-ranked captain, and his status is relatively stable. With Luo Jingxin as the goalkeeper, no one else can challenge him, and the top 3 captains will not challenge someone with a lower status than themselves. His little life can be said to be very comfortable. As long as you guard against Luo Jingxin's challenge, or if someone else succeeds in challenging Luo Jingxin, challenge him again. Even if it was the latter, with Luo Jingxin as a buffer, he would have a lot more time to prepare for the challenge. But now, Zhang Lin was directly parachuted to the 2nd-ranked captain by the city lord. Except for the boss, the status of everyone else has been postponed. Lu Dazhao was originally 2nd, but now he is 3rd. Li Jing was originally 4th, but now he is 5th. He became a goalkeeper. How happy he was before, how frustrated he is now. Therefore, Li Jing went to see Lu Dajiao when he had time during this period, and secretly poked Gong Huo, hoping that Lu Dajiao would take the initiative to challenge Zhang Lin. If Lu Dajiao can kill Zhang Lin, then he can return to his familiar 4th place again. Unexpectedly, Lu Dajiao remained unmoved. Brother Zhao, don't think I don't know. You have a trump card. That Zhang Lin hasn't even awakened the memory of his previous life. He can't beat you at all. I really don't know why you are so. Li Jing's face was full of depression, but that I didn't dare to say the word, coward. Cowardly, Lu Dajiao said calmly, I do have a trump card, but why should I use it to fight for power? Zhang Lin killed the Corpse King and proved his strength. If I want to go further, I should get the trump card. Zhang Lin's biggest victory. If I can kill 2 Corpse Kings, it goes without saying that the City Lord will naturally improve my status and eliminate the threat to mankind. Isn't this good? Quote. Li Jing's pattern was completely crushed, and he was speechless for a moment. Zombies are about to besiege the city. Li Jing, I advise you to prepare early and don't focus on this aspect. Lu Dajiao glanced at him. I thought you invited me here for something. If I had known I wouldn't have coming. After saying that, he left directly. Brother Zhao. Li Jing still wanted to save him, but Lu Dajiao didn't even look at him, opened the door and went out. This made him depressed and couldn't help but cursed. You. He didn't understand people like Lu Dajiao very much. Your own interests have been affected, why don't you go back? What else are you saying about killing the 2 Corpse Kings to eliminate the threat to mankind? Bah, does the life and death of human beings have anything to do with me? In a zombie siege, ordinary people are dying, and I can't die. No, I have to think of a way. Li Jing must not tolerate the loss of his own interests. He has to find a way to get rid of Zhang Lin. Of course, he would not dare to do it himself. Before the new era, his strength was limited. However, he can think of some ways. As for whether internal fighting is appropriate before zombie rising, Li Jing said that he wanted the city to be more chaotic before the zombies besieged it, so that he could fish in troubled waters. If everything was peaceful, he would not be able to make a move. Soon, Li Jing thought of a way. He observed that Zhang Lin basically goes out every day, and the time is very stable, just like going to work. The time when Zhang Lin was out was his opportunity. Humph, Lu Dajiao, if you don't want to do it, I will force you to do it. Li Jing smiled coldly. He wanted to make a game so that Lu Dajiao and Zhang Lin had to take action. In this way, no matter which one of them died, he could return to his most comfortable 4th position. On the streets of Hope City, Lu Dajiao stood waiting at a certain intersection. After a while, Zhang Lin and Ji Yutong walked over, chatting and laughing, and he stepped forward to stop them. Hello, I am Lu Dajiao, you must have heard my name, right? He stood in front of Zhang Lin, his face calm and confident. Zhang Lin was full of questions. A man suddenly appeared and said that he must know his name. Is he sick? When zombies are sieging the city, it is not appropriate for human beings to have civil war, but we can compete with each other in another way. Lu Dajiao said seriously every word, kill the zombies. It's better than when the zombies are sieging the city, which one of us can kill more zombies. Duo, when the time comes, we will decide whether you and I are better or worse. Ah, Zhang Lin wanted to ask who you are, but Lu Dajiao showed him a heroic smile and said, a master like you will definitely not refuse such a challenge. In this case, we have made an agreement. From now on, the victory or defeat of you and me will be decided by the city lord. After speaking, Lu Dajiao turned and left without any hesitation. Of course he was dissatisfied with being unilaterally taken away by the city lord as the second captain of Hope City. However, Lu Dajiao had an overall view and would not consume human power internally before the zombies besieged the city. However, he also had to prove himself in another way. Therefore, he deliberately waited for Zhang Lin here to issue this special challenge. As for whether Zhang Lin will accept this challenge, Lu Dajiao was not worried at all. He just wants to prove himself. Whether Zhang Lin accepts the challenge or not, he will try his best to kill zombies and save mankind. The strong are always lonely. At this moment, Lu Dajiao only felt that his back must be particularly chic, full of the aloof demeanor of a master. Is he sick? Zhang Lin looked at Lu Dajiao's back and couldn't help but look at Ji Yutong aside, with a strange look on his face. Ah, maybe a little bit. Ji Yutong was a little unsure. Naturally, he knew Lu Dajiao. After all, he was the former second captain and the third person in Hope City. Lu Dajiao, your former second-ranked captain, he came to you, maybe. Not convinced. Forget it, leave him alone. Zhang Lin smiled nonchalantly, the route is almost planned. Let's go back. I still have good things to give you. What good thing? Ji Yutong was puzzled at first. Suddenly, she came back to her senses and asked with wide eyes, it can't be, that one, right? Let's talk about it when we go home. Zhang Lin would not reveal the awakening gems outside. He took Ji Yutong back home. He called his family members out and then took out 2 gems that exuded mystery. Oh my god. Ji Yutong was almost stupid. After so many reincarnations, the closest she got to the awakening gem was when the city lord took one out to reward the first captain. At that time, she was a melon eater. With her petite body, she squeezed into the front row to watch. A few glances. And now, she can also use this precious treasure. Brother-in-law, do I have a role too? And Qingwu couldn't help but ask. She felt that she had no contribution to the family. She hoped that she would be as capable as her sister and then go out with Zhang Lin. You all have them. Zhang Lin nodded. He did not correct in Qingwu's title. At certain times, the title was different and the feeling was different. The title, brother-in-law, could speed up the attack at critical moments. The purple gemstone was the size of a palm and exuded a magical color. Everyone's eyes were attracted to it. Even the twin sisters stared at it with glaring eyes for a long time. They didn't see and Qingge awaken that day, so they didn't know what the awakening gem could bring, but based on Ji Yutong's attitude, they also knew that it was a good thing. For a moment, Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were both a little envious. We are all a family, you will be there too. Zhang Lin seemed to have noticed their gazes and said with a smile. Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were like frightened rabbits, hurriedly waving their hands and saying, we don't want such a precious thing. You have to have it even if you don't want it. Zhang Lin thought to himself, the wool comes from the sheep, and the rewards come from you. Who will use it if you don't want it? Okay, no more nonsense, Yutong, you come first. Zhang Lin casually picked up a gem and threw it to Ji Yutong. The gem was thrown in an arc and landed quickly. Ji Yutong's eyes turned red. She jumped up instantly and caught the gem with both hands. After that, she said helplessly, be careful, what if it breaks? Zhang Lin shrugged noncommittally and said nothing, with a nonchalant look on his face. Ji Yutong was even more helpless. He really doesn't know how precious this thing is. In fact, gemstones are very strong and would be fine if dropped. But to Ji Yutong, this thing is a rare treasure and she doesn't want to take any risks. In order to prevent Zhang Lin from making any more mischief, Ji Yutong did not dare to look at the gem carefully. She directly raised her hand and patted it on her smooth forehead. The gem instantly turned into an illusory purple energy and poured into Ji Yutong's body. At the same time, some strange phenomena also occurred around her. When Zhang Lin woke up, the sound of dragon roars rang out around him. When Qingge woke up, there was a breeze surrounding him. The visions that appeared were all related to the extraordinary template they had awakened. At this time, a soft white light appeared next to Ji Yutong. White light seemed to appear on her head out of thin air, covering her whole body from top to bottom. At this moment, she actually looked somewhat holy. After a moment, the white light around Ji Yutong disappeared, and she closed her eyes to perceive her own abilities. After a moment, she opened her eyes, and her small and red lips couldn't help but outline a brilliant arc. I am also a legendary template. What abilities do you have? Tell us. Zhang Lin was very calm. Isn't he just a legendary template? Everyone is the same, so there is no need to be surprised. Ji Yutong slowly suppressed her smile, but there was a lingering joy in her eyes. My extraordinary template is called Holy Nun, and its main ability is healing. Then, she excitedly talked about her 3 extraordinary abilities. Holy Nun Template. Radiant Shield. It can add a shield of light energy to the target. Before the shield energy is consumed, the target protected by the shield will not receive any damage. Holy Ritual. You can perform rituals on food or water. Food and water are blessed with holy power. Eating these foods and water can quickly restore physical strength and physical injuries. God promises immortality. When a holy nun is fatally injured, as long as her body integrity is not less than 50%, she can enter a state of suspended animation. After a period of time, her body will be fully recovered and the holy nun will be resurrected. This is a pure auxiliary extraordinary template, and it comes with a life-saving skill. It is not powerful if viewed alone, but it is very powerful if it is combined with a team. The Holy Shield can make Zhonglin stronger and more resistant, and can also save the lives of teammates at critical moments. Holy rituals can produce various types of recovery food at low cost. If you are caught in a long-term fierce battle and eat a bite of food with holy power, and your status will be restored to full immediately, the enemy will probably be desperate. Needless to say, the life-preserving God promised immortality. Anyone who has played games knows that support can easily be cut to death, but Ji Yutong has no such scruples. As long as she is careful not to be chopped into pieces, she will not die. And Qingwu looked on with envy, and at the same time she felt a bit stressed. Zhonglin, her sister and Ji Yutong are all awakened legendary templates. It would be embarrassing if what she awakens is not a legendary template. She heard it from Ji Yutong. There is also a chance that the awakening gem will be awakened. The minimum is a rare template, but it is not necessarily a 100% legendary template. Brother-in-law, I'm starting to wake up too. And Qingwu said quickly when she saw Zhang Linyu and Ji Yutong's idea of trying their abilities. She couldn't wait any longer. The longer I waited, the more uneasy I became. Long-term pain is worse than short-term pain. Well, then you wake up first, and you two will test your abilities together later. Zhang Lin was not in a hurry, and pointed to another gem on the table for Qingwu to use. She followed Ji Yutong's example, picked up the gem with both hands, and pressed it on her forehead. Just like before, illusory purple energy entered her body. After a while, a vision appeared. There was a faint sound of singing, and the sound was ethereal and distant, like a dream, making people unable to help but get addicted to it as soon as they heard it. Zhang Lin and Qingge couldn't help but listen, while sisters Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were completely obsessed, completely immersed in the music. Fortunately, this was a vision that appeared during awakening, and disappeared after a while. Everyone calmed down and looked at Qingwu. She showed a relieved smile, and her delicate pink lips were tightly stretched on her fair cheeks. She didn't want to laugh, as that would make her look less reserved. Sister, brother-in-law, I am also a legendary template, named Song of the Siren. After saying that, she still couldn't help showing a happy expression. Especially when she looked at Zhang Lin, her beautiful eyes were full of expectation, hoping that Zhang Lin would praise her so that she could contribute to the family in the future. Tell me about your abilities. However, Zhang Lin was very indifferent and had no intention of praising her at all. And Qingwu was slightly disappointed, and then slowly spoke about her abilities. Siren's Song Template. Throat of the Confused World. Transforms the throat of the owner of the Siren's Song Template, so that the throat of the owner of the Siren's Song Template has magical effects. Each song sung will grant various benefits to yourself and your companions according to different styles, state. She only mentioned the first ability, and Zhang Lin was stunned. Will you be the one who provides BGM for fights in the future? Looking at the first ability alone, and Qingwu's future positioning will be similar to Ji Yutong's, and he will also be in a supporting position. And Qingwu continued to talk about his second and third abilities. Mirror Image. Use the water element to transform yourself into two mirror images. The mirror image has the same appearance, smell, and temperature as the main body. It has no ability to move on its own, cannot attack, and has the same physique as the main body. The mirror image disappears after receiving fatal damage. Corrosive Net. Use water elements to construct a large net with corrosive power, which can trap the target and cause slight corrosive damage. After talking about the three skills, Zhang Lin was sure that Qingwu could only play support in the future. Basically none of her three abilities can increase her combat effectiveness. Awakening templates may also be related to personality. And Qingge has a strong personality and wants to help Zhang Lin, so he awakens the extraordinary template of the battle direction. And Ji Yutong is an old salty fish. She just wants to live comfortably and doesn't mind becoming Zhang Lin's exclusive toy in exchange for Zhang Lin's protection. So what she awakened is the relatively mixed Holy Nun template, which specializes in support and has a strong life-saving ability. As for Nqingwu, she had been well protected by Nqingge since she was a child. She didn't have much desire to fight, but she also wanted to help Zhonglin and her sister, so she awakened her abilities in gain and control, and a mirror image is also used to confuse enemies and save lives. And Zhonglin, he was determined to have children at that time, which may fit the characteristics of a dragon. After all, according to legend, dragons are inherently yin, but they can leave offspring of any species, so the template for his awakening is related to dragons. Brother-in-law, isn't my awakening ability great? And Qingwu looked at him expectantly, hoping to be praised. Ah, Zhonglin thought for a while and decided to comfort the child, it's pretty good. When I fight in the future, you can sing to me from behind and give me blessings. Okay, I happen to be studying music. Brother-in-law, you will definitely like to listen. And Qingwu was greatly encouraged and said happily. Could it be that the awakening template has something to do with this? And Qingwu studied music before, so the ability to awaken has something to do with music. Yutong, have you awakened a transcendent template before? Zhonglin turned to look at Ji Yutong and asked, what type is it? I told you, Ji Yutong said in a dissatisfied voice, it's an ordinary template with treatment directions. Didn't you listen carefully at the time? Maybe I was eating in the baby cafeteria and didn't pay attention. Anyway, Ji Yutong used to be a template for treatment types, but now his abilities also have certain healing and recovery effects. There should be some connection between them. Zhonglin smiled and changed the subject, so, everyone's awakening template is related to themselves. In the future, can we train certain skills in advance and then use awakening gems to achieve the awakening we want? What is the purpose of the template you want? You said this. I really haven't thought about it. Ji Yutong hesitated slightly. The main reason is that the awakening gems were too precious and rare in the past, so it was impossible to experiment and summarize these things. My guess is about the same. Zhonglin touched his chin and thought, it's enough to have you and Qingwu as assistants. It's best to awaken the template for combat in the future. As he said that, he looked at the twin sisters. You too, in addition to cooking, you also need to train your combat abilities. In this regard, you go ask Yutong for advice. Although Ji Yutong is an old salty fish, if possible, she would stay at home without leaving the house, but in terms of combat experience, she is better than Zhonglin. After all, she is an experienced veteran who has been through the apocalypse many times, and has more than one life on her hands. The twin sisters looked surprised. Brother, I'm afraid we can't do it. We don't even dare to kill chickens, how dare we fight? The two sisters spoke together, with exactly the same words and intonations, very synchronized, as if they were one person. In the apocalypse, those who have no fighting ability are just lambs to be slaughtered. If you don't dare to kill, just practice. You must also contribute to this family. And Qingge spoke at this time, and said to the twin sisters very sternly. She already knew Zhonglin's secret, and she also knew that the twins would be on Zhonglin's plate sooner or later. She couldn't stop this, and she couldn't stop it. Ji Yutong said that after the new era, the strength of many people will increase by leaps and bounds. After all, with awakened memories, the reborn can take the lead. In addition to the dangers of the same kind, there are also various dangerous extraordinary creatures after the new era. In order for Zhonglin, herself and her sister to continue to live a safe and comfortable life in the future, she could only accept this. In her heart, Zhonglin and her sister are family. The other women are Zhonglin's tools for getting rewards. At the same time, they can also contribute to the family and contribute to the family. That is to say, she has the sensibility of being a woman. Otherwise, out of rational considerations, she would like to help Zhonglin find more women. I know, sister. The twin sisters were startled. They looked at each other and could only agree reluctantly. Before coming, they were more afraid of Zhonglin and liked the kind and Qingge. But since they knew Zhonglin's thoughts, they became even more afraid of Qingge. If Zhonglin wants them, he will definitely not kill them. But as Zhonglin's woman, Qingge would definitely not like them much. The twin sisters are young, but their minds are very mature, and they can see this clearly. Okay, Qingge, don't scare them. Zhonglin smiled, and then said to sisters Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui, This is just to increase your strength in case of emergency. As your men, I will not let you do anything unless necessary. When Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui heard this, their faces turned pale, and they quickly looked at Anqingge, feeling greatly frightened. However, they saw that Anqingge's smooth and fair face had no expression at all, and both sisters were numb. They just felt that Anqingge must have fallen hard for them. Anqingge was indeed unhappy, but he could only accept it helplessly. And Qingwu, on the other hand, was still immersed in the joy of gaining extraordinary abilities, humming a little tune with the incredible voice brought by the newly obtained throat of confused world. As for Ji Yutong, she was also numb. Judging from the way Anqingge directly threatened her that day, this woman is also a cruel person. She really can't understand how Zhang Lin adjusted Anqingge to be like this. Zhang Lin and Anqingge didn't know what Ji Yutong was thinking. Immediately, Zhang Lin took everyone to the third floor to test Ji Yutong and Anqingwu's abilities. After a lot of work, the sky outside has turned dark. Zhang Lin simply asked the twin little cooks to stop cooking and just eat some packaged food. After that, she went to Anqingwu's bedroom under everyone's gaze. Sister. Anqingwu looked at her sister in a panic. The brother-in-law went to her bedroom in front of everyone. It was obvious what he meant. How would she face everyone in the future? Before, she said that Ji Yutong was a bad woman who seduced her brother-in-law, but now she also. She didn't even dare to look at Ji Yutong. Zhang Lin is a good person, and she is also capable of protecting us and leading us to live a good life. Don't be afraid, go ahead. And Anqingge said this to his sister in a trance, and then touched her hair, watching her sister walk into the bedroom. She didn't know if what she was doing was right, but now that it was over, she could only accept it. She just hoped that Zhang Lin would treat her and her sister better in the future. Qingge, do you want me to chat with you? Ji Yutong stepped forward and asked. She felt that Anqingge must be in a bad mood now. Then you go to my room. And Qingge did not refuse. She really had to find something to distract her attention, otherwise her mind would always be filled with what would happen to her sister and Zhang Lin when they were together for a while. The two went downstairs together. Mu Xiaohui looked at Mu Xiaoya. Xiaoya, what do you mean by Sister Qingge? Sister Qingwu is her younger sister, and she didn't even say a word. Obviously, Sister Qingge has already acquiesced. Mu Xiaoya looked like she had seen through everything. That's good, at least Sister Qingge won't hate us. Then, daughter, are we really going to find brother Zhang Lin? Mu Xiaohui lowered her head slightly and kneaded the corners of her clothes with her two small hands. It seems, we have no other way. Mu Xiaoya sighed. It doesn't matter if we follow brother Zhang Lin, we will have no worries about food and drink in the future, and no one will bully us. Moreover, he can also let us awaken to the magical transcendent template. Anyway, the women in this house all belong to brother Zhang Lin. If we follow him, no one will laugh at us. Mu Xiaohui really accepted her fate at this moment. Then, when are we going to find brother Zhang Lin? Mu Xiaoya asked embarrassedly with a blush on her cheeks. Mu Xiaohui was also speechless. For the two girls, it was really hard for them to take the initiative to find Zhang Lin. The other side, in Anqingwu's bedroom, Zhang Lin sat on the soft bed covered with pink sheets and looked at the surrounding environment. Although it has only been a few days since we moved here, this bedroom has been transformed by Anqingwu to suit her personal style. There are some cute dolls placed in the room. The overall decoration is a girly pink color, and it is kept clean and tidy. There is also a light fragrance. Anqingwu was sitting next to Zhang Lin, with her legs together and her hands on her legs. Her posture was very stiff. She was too nervous. Don't be nervous, I don't eat people. Zhang Lin approached her with a smile and put an arm on her shoulder. Anqingwu's body trembled slightly. The thickness and warmth of the man's arms were too unfamiliar to her, and Zhang Lin's identity was different. This is a bit exciting for a girl who has never had any emotional experience or physical contact between men and women. I promise your sister that I will treat you well in the future. Zhang Lin spoke softly, and on the other side, he had already taken her into his arms. Feeling the petite and pleasant warmth in his arms, the blood all over his body surged faster. And Qingwu became even more nervous. Her mind went blank and she completely lost the ability to think. Next, She looked like a large figure at the mercy of others, fully cooperating with Zhonglin and doing whatever he asked her to do. Until a sharp pain came. And Qingwu finally came to her senses. She opened her eyes and saw Zhonglin's face. At this time, he pursed his lips and seemed to be enduring something. The night is still long. The physical bonus brought by the legendary template made and Qingwu's resistance ability much stronger. At the same time, the voice passively blessed by the throat of confusion also played a beautiful music. It's daybreak. Zhonglin walked out of the house refreshed. First, he went to number 16 to call Chen Zibo, and then the two of them left the city together to see if they could kill some lone zombies. And Qing's dancing body and soft voice made him feel a new version of the both that he had never experienced before. At this time, he felt cute looking at the zombies on the roadside. The zombie siege is coming soon. You have to pay close attention to the team. It's not just for me. You are not strong. If you don't have a team, the chance of survival is too small. After killing the last zombie around with a few shots, Zhonglin took a rest in the passenger seat and said to Chen Zibo, who was harvesting zombie ears everywhere. Hope City is a mixed bag, and many people are not trustworthy. I don't dare to be hasty when choosing people. Chen Zibo returned to the car carrying a bag of zombie ears. However, I also have a few potential candidates. Before the zombies siege the city, we can recruit 6 people. Yes. Zhonglin nodded, and then asked Chen Zibo to drive, avoiding most of the zombies that had assembled into an army, and looking for scattered zombies to hunt. The zombie siege is coming, and the city lord has increased the price of zombies. Now a zombie is worth 3 contribution points. Almost everyone in Hope City came out in full force, looking for lone zombies to hunt. This is the city lord's preparation for the zombie siege. Before the arrival of the zombie siege, mobilize the power of the entire Hope City to weaken the living power of the zombies as much as possible. Of course, there are few people with this pattern. Most people hunt zombies for more contribution points. For example, Zhonglin. He admired the city lord's layout and was willing to cooperate if it was beneficial to him. Anyway, he could exchange the contribution points he earned into food and increase his reserves. In this way, Zhonglin also has some patterns. However, some others just have no pattern at all. Zhonglin has already gone out, and the plan has begun. Xiaolu, go to the city gate and watch. If Zhonglin comes back, send me a message in advance. Haipeng, Lao Jia, come with me to Villa number 5. Remember, don't be people see it, otherwise the city lord won't be able to spare us. Li Jing, who had no plan, took advantage of Zhonglin to go out and started taking action with his men. The captain's power cannot be fully demonstrated at this time, but Li Jing is a person who has awakened his memory and is very aware of the captain's power after the new era. He had to do it now. Zhonglin was so strong before the new era. After the new era, Li Jing couldn't even imagine how strong Zhonglin was. If he didn't take action now, Li Jing would be afraid that he would never have a chance again. If you want to blame it, just blame you for blocking my way. Li Jing smiled coldly and led 2 of his men into Villa number 5 through the backyard fence. After arriving in the backyard, Li Jing went straight to the 2nd floor of the villa. He had already investigated clearly before coming here. There were only 5 women in the villa, and they seemed powerless at first sight. Li Jing's plan is very simple, which is to provoke a conflict between Zhonglin and Lu Dajiao and make the 2 people fight. Zhonglin and Lu Dajiao are both masters, and there is also the conflict of status struggle. Once they fight, they will definitely fight to the death. When the time comes, no matter who of the 2 dies, he can return to the 4th position. To do this requires some planning. After learning that Zhonglin was the 2nd captain appointed by the city lord, Li Jing began to secretly follow Zhonglin. After observing for a period of time, he made a plan. While Zhonglin was out, he secretly sneaked into Villa number 16, knocked out several of Zhonglin's women, took them away, and brought them to Lu Dajiao's home to humiliate them like crazy. Because Zhonglin took over Lu Dajiao's position, it was reasonable for Lu Dajiao to take revenge on Zhonglin and take away his woman, and no one would suspect anything. Li Jing knows Lu Dajiao very well. He has a great sense of justice, but his personality is a bit middle of the road and his brain is a bit unclear. Zhonglin's woman was taken away and she was also crazily humiliated. When he found Lu Dajiao, He would definitely not have a good temper, and Lu Dajiao's character meant that he would not explain too much, especially when Zhang Lin was very rude. Down. In this case, there must be a big battle between the two. If Zhang Lin challenges, Lu Dajiao will definitely meet him. This is Lu Dajiao's nature. This is Li Jing's plan. Simple, yet effective. He took advantage of Lu Dajiao's character and knew how to stimulate Zhang Lin's emotions, making it impossible for the two to communicate and resolving misunderstandings. At that time, when the two meet, they will fight to the death like enemies. You two are blessed. All of Zhang Lin's women are beauties. After a while, they were knocked unconscious and brought to Lu Dajiao's house. We played with all Zhang Lin's women at his house. Li Jing went upstairs. He said to his two men in a low voice. Hee, Brother Jing, you come first when the time comes, and we can just have some soup. Old Jia, who is middle-aged and very understanding of the ways of the world, said to Li Jing with a smile on his face. Haipeng has already fallen into fantasy. Before the end of the world, he was just a poor loser. He only watched beautiful beauties like Chingay and others on short video websites, and he had to open them every time after watching them. Reward yourself with something. After the end of the world, following Li Jing, he can now experience it personally. Even though it's just eating the leftovers from others, it's still better than making glue yourself. As he thought about it, Haipeng felt that his whole body was hot and thirsty. Brother Jing, it's just a few women, we don't need to be so careful, right? Go up early, let's enjoy it early. He couldn't help but urge. Li Jing thought that this was also the case, so he speeded up and hurried up to the second floor. At this time, several women from Villa number 16 were in the living room on the second floor. Under the leadership of Chingay, Ji Yutong began to train all the women on some experience and knowledge in the apocalypse, so as to avoid being in real danger. Each one of them was like a little white rabbit, so scared that they could only run away. Ji Yutong said eloquently, in the end of the world, the most important thing is to always be alert. Our current house seems safe, but if a desperado really breaks in, Quote. She saw 3 men suddenly coming upstairs. On the side, Chingay sat with her sister. She held her sister's little hand, and they listened to Ji Yutong's story together. On the other side, Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were also sitting on the sofa on the other side, listening carefully to teacher Ji's class. Suddenly, Ji Yutong stopped. They felt strange, so they followed Ji Yutong's gaze, and happened to see Li Jing and others who had just gone upstairs. Has my mouth been opened? Ji Yutong murmured to himself. And Qingyi's eyes narrowed, his expression instantly turned cold, and he scolded, who are you and what do you want to do? And Qingwu felt her sister's nervousness and looked at the 3 of them warily. The twin sisters were a little scared and shrank back slightly. Hey, what a coincidence. Li Jing was stunned for a moment when he saw the 5 women sitting in the living room, and then showed a ferocious smile. Now we don't have to look for them one by one, we can just catch them all. Ji Yutong did not forget to continue teaching at this time. See, there are too many emergencies like this in the apocalypse. You should get used to it and avoid being caught off guard. Ching Jie performed very well and responded quickly. Just kidding, there are a total of 5 women in this room, and 3 of them are people who have awakened the legendary extraordinary template. Before the new era comes, who can harm them? Ji Yutong was not afraid at all. Instead, he looked at the 3 of them with playful eyes, thinking that there was finally something fun to watch. She stayed at home every day and had no entertainment activities. The only fun for women was to wait until Zhang Lin came back in the evening, and it might not be her turn. Without the pressure of survival, the demand for entertainment has increased. Now Ji Yutong is a pure and happy person. Xiaoya and Xiaohui, please hide behind. And Qingay calmly arranged, Yutong, please don't take action. Xiaowu and I will deal with these 3 people. Someone just happened to come to kill someone, so she used it to train her sister. And Qingwu was a little nervous. Sister, I have never killed anyone. And Qingay touched his sister's hair and said, it's okay. Don't be nervous. You'll get used to it after killing a few times. Ji Yutong. She really felt that Qingay and Zhang Lin were a perfect match. The mentality changed too quickly. She still remembered that when she first experienced the apocalypse, it took several months for her mentality to change. Li Jing's face darkened as he listened to the conversation of several women. He suppressed his anger and said coldly, "It seems that you still don't understand what is going to happen. Haipeng, Lao Jia, you block the entrance to the stairs and windows, let me do it." He has been reborn many times and knows many secret things. Like Luo Jingxin, he also made simple potions that can be made during the Resident Evil to improve himself. In terms of strength, it is stronger than Luo Jingxin's half-corpse potion. There were just a few women, and Li Jing didn't think they could be his opponents. How dare you look down on him like this? Li Jing decided to catch one of them and perform an operation directly here to let them know what fear feels like. He strode towards the women with a ferocious smile on his face. "Don't scream for a while, otherwise I will be even more excited." Mu Xiaoya and Mu Xiaohui were already hiding behind the sofa. Ji Yutong sat comfortably and took out a bag of potato chips. With a soft sound, she unscrewed the cap of a bottle of carbonated drink and placed it in front of her. And Qingge and Qingwu stood up to meet the enemy. "Xiao Wu, let me ask you, what is the first step?" she asked softly, just like she helped her sister with her homework when she was a child. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.